Gaming, we've got Boom Esports coming in. We got A1 Esports, as well as we've got Vampires in their champions. We got the Bloods official, Vikings Esports, Skyforce. We got Todak. Then over into Group B, we've got Bigatron by Vitality, RRQ, Sem9, Tribe Eremacy, D Xavier, T2K, the Glue Squad. There might be some sticky stuff happening over there. Then, of course, Regicide and SKD. So, an interesting lineup that we have. On this front, a few familiar faces that we, of course, saw in the previous season. So DRS, Boom, Vampire, and Champions over in A. Group B is where we have Tribe Eremacy and Bigatron by Vitality. Of course, two of the squads that found themselves in a really strong finish come the end of last season. Tribe Eremacy, of course, taking the dub. Bigatron by Vitality coming in clutch in that second place right behind them. Sem9, of course, we've seen them previously, as well as RRQ Ryu. So, yeah, there's some expectations to see whether or not the teams from the previous season are going to look to improve those overall standings, or whether they will have the new teams that are stepping up bring in a little bit of that hot heat and pressure. Of course, taking a look at our team rosters here, we have all our different players as well. But I think the interesting thing here is also a little bit of a change in the setup, right? Because from here, the top 9 teams from the playoffs make it straight over into the grand finals itself. Yes. But as we get into the last chance, only 10 teams, obviously 10 teams from here will be moving into that next phase. But they're going to be joined by a few other teams, right, who will get into once we get to that point. So, yeah, if you want to make it into the remainder of this competition, at the very least, you have to try and finish in the top 19. Because top 9, straight to the grand finals. The other 10 teams make it straight into the last chance. So the pressure is going to be on.
Oh, the pressure will definitely be on for the grand finals. You have to be either qualified. The top 9 will be qualified from the playoffs, and the 9 from the last chance. So even if you can't compete here, even if you can't go straight into the grand finals from here, you will still have one more a chance. And I do love that. I do love this fact that teams are given a secondary chance. They're gonna go into the lower bracket kind of system that we usually see on different games. So with one more chances, one more opportunity for them to go straight into the grand finals, and from them take the champions to their name. It's a great opportunity. But aside from that, DK, there's also a lot of changes. Now that officially Sanhok has also been replaced, with Rondo. On top of that, a recall system is introduced on that. Are we going to see it over here in Season 4 of the Lidoma Asia? Are we going to see Rondo with the recall, or we're going to stick with our Sanhok?
That is a good question, and we'll see pretty soon exactly how all of this is going to play out. So, yeah, there's a lot to be discovered as we are going to be prepping ourselves to get ready for the action, getting ready to see what the battlefield will hold. But yeah, again, some pretty familiar names as we have across the board here. And I want to see how all of this is going to kind of wrap itself up as we make it onto that first match of the day. Of course, for the team rosters here, we are going to be ending it right there with Sem9 for this page, and we'll be hopping into the remaining few pages. But this is where I want to know from you, Torix. What do you think is going to be the approach here from the teams that we saw in Season 3, right? Do you think they're going to play better than they did in the previous one? Or are we going to have a different play? Because the teams that I've mentioned, those were the squads that made it all the way into the grand finals. So I think there is, at least from my side, a level of expectation as to see an improvement.
I mean, yes, that is true. We do expect the teams that did play the last season to play tremendously good in this one, and somewhat on the aggressive side, because they're familiar with the pattern on how the matches go, how the teams actually go, what the zone setting is, and what kind of momentum that they need to take up into the pace. But at the same time, it's also against different teams, against some of the new names. So maybe they will not have the idea on how those teams are going to play in this Season 4. So that's where the diversity is going to happen. That's where the changes are going to occur. And we will definitely see a lot of different approaches maybe from some of the older teams that played the season 3, and maybe some new approaches from also the teams that are playing the season number 4 as well. But aside from this, I think we're almost done with our squad roster going into the matches. We don't even have a single Sandhawk. That's the thing. In season 3, we didn't have a Sandhawk. I just totally forgot about it. And in season 4, we're once again not going to have a Sandhawk. It's Erangels and the Miramar, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, it's a Emmy. It's a me, right? All across the way. So, I mean, I think it's pretty good, right? Because the teams will have a great opportunity to try and focus on that consistency, right? Kind of build up that momentum and push it as far as they possibly can. So I think starting the day off with a little bit of that Miramar action is going to be quite exciting, as we then will be hopping into Erangel and then copy pasting, rinse, repeating that across the board. So, yep, there's going to be a lot to see as these teams are going to be making their way on through. And of course, I think this is where I'm curious as to what the viewers are thinking, right? So if you're in the chat, let us know, who do you think is going to be rising to the occasion for our very first game here in season 4, right? Is it going to be Tribe Eremacy? Is it going to be Bigatron by Vitality? Is it going to be Todak? Is it going to be the Vikings, Skyforce? Who do you think will be the squad to rise up, take the dub, and get that winner chicken dinner secured? Of course, a lot will be revealed as we'll be playing through our 6 matches here today. But I think, again, Torix, looking at the 6 matches, it gives teams a good opportunity to really build on that consistency. Of course, if you remember, season 3, we also did have some of the EWC teams also partaking, and I think that was also a good opportunity for them really to get a good feel as to, you know, what to prepare for moving into the championship itself.
I mean, right now, the teams have just played the EWC, and we have gone over this for quite a couple of times in today's segment as well so far, that it's 8 teams from the EWC that has been distributed into 3 groups, meaning 2, 3, maybe even 4 teams in a single group might be playing at one point in time. So with those 8 teams having played EWC consistently against all of those big names, they have already set up a momentum for themselves. They know how to take this opportunity into their own hands. They just got out of like a very major event, and there's going to be a lot of steam that needs to be taken off from these guys' side. So I'm expecting a lot of aggressions, at least on the very first day of action. Whereas slowly and steadily, the players will settle up into the matches more and more into the safer side areas, safer side momentums. But the first day is going to be a complete chaos. That's one thing for sure. But aside from that, there's also this smaller factor that you're also playing for the glory, the season number 4, that is on its way, and starting with the Miramar. Not Erangel, not Sandhawk. Sandhawk is not even into the play. You're starting with the biggest map of them all. You're bound to have some difficulties over there. You're bound to have some different approaches in this. It's not just the Erangel that you can, glide, make a longer glide, go to your designated location. No, you have to find the cars. You have to find your rotations. You have to make sure that you're in the circle at any cost, at any time.
Yep, the pressure is going to be on, so there's going to be quite a bit of an expectation to see whether or not the teams can get themselves situated. But I think Miramar is going to be an interesting one, especially being the first match of the day, as we will get to see whether or not there'll be any hot drops, as the teams will kind of get to establish where those positions are going to play out. And I think especially with the new squads then coming into the rotation as well, that'll add to that level of surprise, right? You could also maybe potentially even call it excitement, because there's going to be a lot to come through here, right? There could be those clashes coming in, but essentially as we progress further into the day and also through the days itself, I think we'll see a little bit more of a secured play where teams know, okay, cool, I'm going to be going to that location. You know, there's not going to be too much of a contention when it comes to these locations. So, yeah, I think the first few matches of the day are going to be the exciting ones. As you said, there's going to be a little bit of steam that needs to be released. And, well, you were talking about the EWC that ended. It ended yesterday. So,
yes.
It's still very fresh, right? So I don't necessarily know what to expect coming through here. All I'm hoping for is a lot of excitement, a lot of pressure, and of course, love to hear from our viewers what they think is going to be that play. And of course, if you want to be part of this, be sure to head over to platform.ladoma.com to register your team and partake in those events. As we saw in the opening video, there is quite a lot of cash up for grabs, so go play for those points and see how much you can bank at the end of the day. Speaking about the end of the day, though, 6 matches stand between us and that. So, yeah, do you have any predictions as to who you think could be taking the winner chicken dinner on the first game for the day?
Ooh, that's a very, very difficult question, DK, that you have just asked me, because as you already said, EWC just ended yesterday. It's fresh wounds for a majority of the teams, some of the teams as well. But at the same time, with the wounds also comes a fresh mindset that, okay, you're calm. The wounded tiger is actually more ferocious than the one that is not wounded. So they have to be very careful on how to take them down, how to rest upon all these teams. As we already talked about, the teams that have been playing, that are going to play in today's matches, like DRS, Boom, ASI8, all these names. So with the name all in all in here, there's one name that sparks for me. I don't know why, but I have a very huge feeling that it's going to be Bigatron by Vitality for the first match.
Ooh. All right. Well, that's an interesting decision to make on that one. We're going to find out, right, as we are going to be hopping into our first match. A decent flight path to start us off as well. So I'm pretty sure the teams are going to be quite happy with that, being able to reach most of those preferred locations. But this is going to be that opportunity for us to see exactly how all of this is going to pan out and where they'll choose to move in towards. But yeah, now we wait to see what that zone is also going to be bringing with it as well.
I mean, that's the thing. This plane line, in fact, it's kind of like super gracious to the teams, going from one corner to the other corner, having settled down into the very mid, Picado, the Power Grid, the San Martin, all these areas that has been accessible for the teams now. I mean, it can lead to a lot of early fights. It also can lead up to a lot of locations, advantages, position for some of the teams, the majority of the teams at the same time, because I can see at the very dead center of this plane line, almost 50 to 60% of the teams just start instantly jumped off. Now, Regicide, they're going to the Monte Nuevo, whereas there is also this M9 right close to their proximity. Picado is also being contested by a single guy near the Power Grid side. That is Optimus, but will Optimus go back to his team members, or he will actually go Picado, take the fight against the Vampire Esports at the early stages in time? But oh my goodness, the Circle's gonna take a shift to the southeastern corner, and at the same time, DRS is taking some fresh wounds on the DX side, getting those eliminations, in fact, with the knife just going on.
Oh, there we go. Well, we were waiting to find out if there's going to be some crazy plays to start us off. The answer is an absolute yes, as Lonely is, as the name suggests, very lonely at this point, getting rushed. Beautiful send coming through here, and the heat is on. Not wasting a single moment to get this ball rolling. Gotta love the plays here. But this is not the only point of contention, right? There are multiple points where we see teams really going at it. Of course, the Vikings, the first squad to secure that wipe. There we have it. Now it's also going to be the Glues also getting right into the heat as they find themselves in a bit of a situation here. Of course, looking up in towards El Pozo. There's even more happening on this front.
There's a lot of casualties going around. Sakudai Esports, we know that a while ago they were also being one of the teams that was contesting upon on these players, all these teams. But Regicide, ladies and gentlemen, right on our screen, and you can see into the minimap, it's not just 2 different teams, it's 3 different teams. The fight is going on. The Uzi, it's not going to make any kind of connections to take the player down. Pinkman, you're on the verge of elimination as Satira gets you down. It's a knockdown, it's a confirmation, and Regicide is going to lose another one of their players. That's Sem9, second elimination. Now the peak fire is not going to work out. Satira this time will be taken down. File closed to make sure that the file is closed for one of the player of the Sem9, leaving the both players to a 2 versus 2 scenario. Now file closed is also gonna go down again. It's a back and forth going around. You take one of ours, we take one of yours. Now plus They're the one that's going to do the final elimination on the Regicide's player, getting their first elimination, and Regicide, as they are the second team to get annihilated out of this match in this early on stages, and we're not even within the 4-minute marker, and already two teams have already gone away. AST is down to the last guy. DX is down to the last guy. Aero Messi gets eliminated by Glue Squad right there and then. Now Sim9 versus Bluz Official. It's going to happen.
I see so many teams just falling to the side. I mean, as we have already 4 squads getting eliminated down to the final 14, we go Sim9. Not going to try and hold on to a little bit of a standoff here. 3 eliminations to their name, but is that going to be enough? Will that be able to push them to this next page? Bluz, I love what they're doing here, keeping that pressure on, not allowing Sim9 to get a good foothold here. But the pressure could take us rather now to that boiling point as the utilities are getting cooked on up. We got Cry up on the ridge, keeping a little bit of that overwatch, looking for the angle here. Okay, coming in with the with the crossbow, trying to see if they can maybe find a bit of a play. I love these explosive bows. As okay now quickly changes over. Cry now having that whole position actually getting turned against them.
I mean, I have no words to say but to enjoy this kind of aggression that's happening at this point. A Bluz Official 4-man standing, 1 elimination, right? But Sim9 is going to change that as OK gets knocked out. OK is not OK. But TMG, in fact TMG8, he manages to do a lot of damage upon on the players, but someone needs to get OK up. Someone needs to make sure that he's back on his feet. As Sim9, they're finally pushing up, but Gyrosir going to take down the guy, 9TD. In fact, he gets knocked down. TMG8 gets a knockdown as well. Now Axie and Gyrosir, it's all up to these two guys, and Gyrosir, he's low on that HP. He's going to be taken down. It's a back and forth going around. 1v1 it is, ladies and gentlemen, as Axie is going for the revive. We're going to see some casualties happening on Bluz Official players. They're getting finished off. But let's see what Axie is going to do, as he has managed to get that revival down. He is going to make sure that the player is back to the 2-man. It is the UMP45 has been reloaded. Axie, you have to push. This is the time. You two together have to push on these guys. There is no other way. Otherwise, Bluz Official, you're not going to be able to make it up. Sim9 will get that revival done upon their players, and that will instantly mean that, okay, you're not going to be able to secure those eliminations. But here we go. Axie and together with TMG8, they're finally pushing on. Axie with the UMP45, he's going to push up, and it's over. Sim9 it is. Ladies and gentlemen, 6 minutes in, and 5 teams already out of the match.
Yeah, I think this is some pretty good pacing for the new teams to the season, right? Bluz Official doing the job here, coming through with a glorious squad wipe, only losing 1 player in that trade-off, so definitely showing that they've been business. Speaking of business, it is going to be Boom Esports also coming through with a bit of a rotation all the way over on towards that Impala side. Of course, Impala is currently smack dab center zone, so the quicker you can get yourself situated, the more of an advantageous angle you could have coming into the next few phases. But of course, the rest of the lobby yet to make their way on forward. ASI8 also finding themselves in a little bit of an angle here, of course, just on that southern side of Los Leones. But they actually had a few teams dropping in here with them, right? We did see Champions Esports sharing a similar kind of drop location, but they went a little bit further down towards that southern side. You were saying Bigatron by Vitality could be the squad to take that winner chicken dinner. And I can see why you say that, because last season, on the first Murmur that we had for the day, that's exactly what they did, right? They came in clutch, they got that victory. So, yeah, who knows? They could look to replicate those efforts yet again.
Oh my god. Bigatron by Vitality right now on our screen, and it's already almost the end of the first circle. 40 seconds, ladies and gentlemen, right here and now. 40 seconds more, and we will have our first circle close on. Stage 1 will go to the stage 2, but the casualties, the amount of aggressive stances that everybody showed, oh, it was amazing. I craved for this kind of bloodshed. in every single one of the lobby. But now we have finally seen that the zone's going to close in 13 seconds, 12 seconds, ladies and gentlemen, and 13 teams will make their way to the stage in number 2. Now, this gives enough opportunity, enough radius of the circle for all of these teams to cement themselves in a good position inside of that circle. But I still see Glue Squad for some reason at the trailer park. The circle is going to go to the north eastern corner, whereas still 40% of the circle is in the water.
Yep, this is an exciting bit though. We could maybe have a little bit of a taste of that island potentially. Last season you were asking for those little islands to be played. It might be a season late, but we could eventually see it happening right here. Impala is definitely going to be the place of contention, as we've got quite a few teams now looking to rotate up those southern edges. But in the center, it's looking pretty good. Some interesting angles here being occupied by the Vikings as they look to move towards the north, taking good occupancy. But I think Toric's a good spot here to look for is going to be the high ground, where we can see the Vikings expanding themselves in towards, right? That will allow quite a bit of visibility, especially over towards that western front.
That's absolutely true. At this point, you do need those higher ground, higher planes for yourself to make sure that you can see the other teams just roaming around into the area. But Vampire Esports, that's going to be 2 down of the Vampire. Boom Esports is also going to lose 2 of their players as Vampire Esports is now on the same equilibrium footing as Boom Esports. We have Kodak, ladies and gentlemen, on our screen right in front of the team Champions Esports. The sprays did not made any kind of connections. Yes, on the car, yes, but on the player, no, so far. So, Sam, you have to go towards a different angle. But Boom Esports versus Vampire Esports, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to happen. It's happening as Boom M. He's pushing on. The backfire is coming as well. He's alone, that HP. The shotgun's not going to make any connections, but the backside, Lazarus is finally going to come into the rescue. The 1v1 made its way, but there's another team, another name right in the proximity. So Vampire is not even safe right now. The grenade's going to go boom. No, man, not a good connection onto the players, but he managed to get 1 down. Superman low. Come on, you can do that. The jump fire with the Octobahn made sure that Vampire Esports and Lazarus gets eliminated, and it's another elimination. 7 in total for this team.
Yeah, it does seem like the Vikings are looking to claim the territory for themselves. Champion Esports managing to sneak their way around, coming in with a lovely southern position here. Now, fortunately for them, the Vikings have decided to move elsewhere, so this will allow them a little bit of an opportunity, a little bit of an angle to try and make a stand off of. But the pressure is going to be on here as a Bluzzy official also still need to rotate up. They are still all the way out in the blue, and they have a long rotation back into the safety of the zone. Now, RRQ, Ryu, going to be finding themselves in a bit of a situation here. Vikings holding just ahead of them. So will they be able to find a way in? Will they be able to make that entry? For the time being, not quite sure. But RRQ, they've been up to the north for a hot minute. And of course, the zone is going to start to close in on itself, taking us a little bit more towards the north, keeping that pressure on, but now moving back a little bit more onto the dry land. So not a full shift over towards the western side, at least not for the time being. But the tension is there, and as you can see, more and more teams now just trying to squeeze themselves into the positions available. It's going to be BTR, though, coming in on that far western front, just dipping out of the blue. And there's not a lot of rotational pathways here for them back in towards the zone. I mean, if they go for the north, that's where they're going to be running into quite a bit of a problem, especially.
I mean, we can't say anything for sure right now, as this lobby is kind of like on the aggressive stances, so we never know what they might think, what they might do, and what will be their next step. But from judging from what's happening so far, some of the teams, they're kind of like placing it on the safer side as a third party only. MVKE, I have to give it to them. The way that they managed to instantly took down a third party into the both ways of the Boom and Vampire Esports by taking both of them down with 7 elimination in total. They got 1 full squad. The other one had 3 of their players that being knocked out, eliminated at that one point in time. But ASI, ladies and gentlemen, on our screen at the south corner of the circle, close to their proximity, there's another team. That is the TDK, I do believe so. Todak is here. So Todak, yes, in fact, is into the Impala area. Moving forward, they can get into the fight against the team ASI8. Casanova is kind of over-aggressing at this point, over-pushing at this corner of the ridge, whereas the rest of his team is kind of further away back into the corner side, into the cover side. So if he gets knocked out, there is no hope that he can get that revive. But champions against Team SF, it is Icy that's going to be knocked and finished off right there. And then 13 minutes have only passed, and we're already into the stage number 3. Not only just that, there's only 11 teams left.
Yeah, I mean, they're not wasting any time. 13 minutes of gameplay, about to hit 14, and as you've said, a lot of pressure already being applied across the board. But now for Todak, this is going to be interesting whether or not they are going to look to maybe try and aggress over onto the side here of ASI8, or if they'll just wait to see where that zone is going to be taken in. For the time being, it seems like Todak are going to be just waiting for the opportunity. They don't want to risk it just yet, but especially being over on towards this far eastern side of zone, there's not a lot of angles really to try and play off of here. Glue Squad also now going to be just situated towards that northern side. Quite a few teams still looking to trickle out of the blue. Fortunately, it is only stage number 3, but as we're about to hit stage 4, that blue is going to go pretty crazy on them, as now we are a lot more confirmed over towards the dry land, as the pressure is going to be on for the teams towards that far southern side. The rotations now will have to come in, and of course a lot of the terrain, a lot of the compounds available in the current zone already occupied. So if they want a spot, they're really going to have to fight their way in.
I mean, that's the beauty of the Miramar. You have to now fight your way into this open land to have that circle for yourself. Team Skyforce so far, Sanchir alongside of Riley, all of the players, they're at the outskirts of the zone so far. But Glue Squad, the team that had the initial 4 elimination to their name, now is in front of the team BTR.
Ooh.
The jump car shot. Whoa, that's something new. The car was in the air. You changed the seat, and you just got that elimination. We see some new things every day. It was flying cars in the EWC. It is right now flying players that's getting the eliminations in the Lidoma Asia Season 4, ladies and gentlemen. But 15 minutes passed, and MG and Vikings, Voonty, he's stuck. He is stuck in the middle of the mountain.
I mean, it's not a bad spot to be stuck in, right? You still have the elevation, you still have a way to kind of climb up and get a good vantage point here, and this is exactly what we see the Vikings looking to do now. But RRQ find themselves in a bit of a sticky position here, because yes, they do have compounds, they do have the coverage, but they are not as safe as they would have hoped to be. Fortunately for RRQ, they do have another player that has also been able to rotate out, just move up alongside that mountain itself. Now, Skyforce, they're going to be coming in from a little bit more of a western positioning, keeping it nice and quiet up in the shacks. ASI8 going to be looking to apply the pressure now onto Todak, as both squads find themselves in an altercation. It's going to be Iron feeling the heat. The shots just nipping at the heels, but a quick rotation. Fall back as the rotation now comes through here from Todak, looking to aggress. They push on forward. Let's see whether or not 6ix9ine is going to be able to get the shots in. Vehicle could provide a little bit of a saving grace here for Calm, but that nade has been overcooked. The molly now gets let loose. The shots continuing to fly on through. Calm being everything but calm at this point, as Todak just lock on in, aggressing forward, and ASI8 now being put on quite a bit of a back foot, as they've only got 1 player remaining.
Oh my god, he's getting pushed. He's getting pushed. Iron, you have to show your Iron Will right here, but no, it's no use. The moment your 1897, the shotgun, started to miss, it was over for you at that point in time. But Munti, once again, on the mountain ridge side, let's see what's going to happen. 9 teams are remaining into the game. 30 players are alive so far, and you can see Viking getting that revive. No, he just barely missed that. For a second, I thought he did got that hand on the revive, but the spray came in, I do believe so, or it was somewhat of a damage that somehow came into the play and just got that elimination. But aside from that, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to head into another stage, stage number 5, and it will go maybe to the northern side of this area. And nope, Nope, I had to say north and it goes south. Straight up there, it's going to go towards the teams. There's Bloods officials. There is a majority of the teams, almost 50% of the teams are right now cemented in the circle at a really, really good placement.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty tough for the outlying squads to get themselves situated, especially looking at Bigatron by Vitality. Not an easy pathing back into safety here. But, I mean, RRQ, though, they're looking pretty good, gotta say. They still have their 3 players held up in the compounds, and I believe that's Do or Woo up at the mountain. A long, long spread here, as we can see. Skyforce now trying to lock it down as they start to push in from the western front. The mountain is going to be the place to play for as the Vikings look to plant themselves down here. So looking at the available angles, they do spot a few rotations there as Turca starts to make the push, looking to see if they can maybe sneak their way in. But Bluz also taking occupancy of that southern side. So if the zone pulls further towards the southern edge, that is going to be the angle for them to try and capitalize on. But I gotta say, for the time being, the Vikings, they look pretty solid here.
They do. Vikings are looking really, really solid. Not only because of the placement that they have, but at the same time, the amount of distance they can cover from this direction. They don't have to worry about their backsides because nobody should be on the very top of the mountain, as there's already a single guy over there. So whatever they're doing, it's working out. It's working out. But what I want to see at this point is RRQ making some moves. So far, it is 0 eliminations. No point whatsoever to those guys' names. But Skyforce, ladies and gentlemen, Sanchir got some damage. Natsu is trying to make sure that the player that was knocked out at one point in time, he gets finished off. Now he's going to switch his tactic to the car explosion, maybe trying to get that car explosive to eliminate down the players, but Sakudai, that's one player down. Pika is knocked out into the very open area outside of the circle, so there is almost little to no hope that the player can be revived, but Natsu, he has not given out the hope. He is still going to try to get that revival maybe, or not, but we can still see Vikings, YNZ. Very top of the mountain. If he really looks down, he can not only see the RRQ, but also the T2K that is right below the proximity. But Skyforce will be that one crucial factor that will be looking at these guys to maybe get them down as well.
Yeah, I don't want to get caught in a sticky spot. Not just yet. Riley up on the ridge, riding it out, cooking up the nades, sending them forward, looking to see if they can apply the pressure. Now, SKD going to be feeling the heat as 2 of their players get picked on up. Ooh, but the response is there. It's not going to go unpunished. Skyforce, try and see if there's a way out of this, but it's not looking very easy. Now, up they come. Not quite fully aware of the remainder of SKD's position here. At least clearing out rather the first compound. Now with the sprays coming through here from Nodzu, Riley knows exactly where to focus and what angle to take. It is going to be utilities trying to clear the way, but a quick, efficient hit coming through there with a shotty as SKD locks in their 6th elimination. But now the hard work comes is they have to rotate back in towards the zone. And there's not a lot of cover to allow for that rotation to come through clean. Vikings still looking pretty dominant up on towards the southern edge of the zone itself. TDK starting to make their push as they rotate up. Turca not having an easy play here. The Vikings going to look to capitalize.
Oh my god. Come on. You missed every single one of that shot. This is not a good way to start. MG and Vikings, Vunti, you had the opportunity. You could have taken down not just 1, but 2 of the players, but you barely even managed to scratch down 1 of the players. And now Todak, now they have the location advantage against you. Now that they have location against you, they will definitely be using that at one point in time. But Skim, so far, he is also looking at a different team. He is also trying to approach a different location for himself. But look at the mini-map. State number 6, it's already super small. 8 teams into the proximity. You can see almost 8 out of 8 names in this small of the radius that we're seeing into the mini-map. There's T2K at the south side. There's the team, in fact, Viking at the very eastern side. Bluz official alongside of, I do believe so, the same team that was the Vikings at one point in time into the area. So Todak alongside of Bluz, alongside of Viking in a single, like very contagious spot, they will definitely go for the fight. It will definitely be one of the few factors where if anyone even tries to get out of the proximity, they will instantly be taken off. They will instantly be eliminated. But Sanchir from Skyforce, he's also moving forward. But YNZ, why is this guy not shooting at these proximity where he can see everything and everyone?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I mean, they might be distracted and looking in a different direction. Now it is going to be SKD that are not going to be able to make it any further as RRQ ends the run there for them. Meanwhile, the Vikings, it's all pretty locked. No reason for them to move from this mountain just yet. But if we see the zone shifting to the north, that is going to be a pretty tough angle for them to try and compensate for. Skyforce, unfortunately, also not going to be making it any further as we're down to the final 6 squads. Vikings hoping that the zone stays in their favor. Bigatron by Vitality now coming up, knocking on the door, looking to see if they can gain a bit of a foothold here. The zone, of course, is going to get ready to pop anytime soon. But the teams all now just trying to get themselves situated. If the zone pulls up to this mountain, it is going to be an absolutely brutal battle. Now, Bumblebee getting met with a few shots to the face as Lapar from RRQ locks it in. BTR, RRQ finding themselves in a bit of an exchange on the edge of zone, but the Vikings going to look to third party. As you can see, Tin now just locking it in. RRQ starting to crumble.
This is the third time that I've seen this team like just miss out all their shots on the players, and the other party just gets the knockdown, gets instant confirmation right there and then. But RRQ now down to the very last 2 players themselves. Now Bluz official as Voka gets eliminated by T2K. We can see the BTR into the close proximity of the Vikings. We can see T2K pushing on the Bluz official. Bluz official gets eliminated. #6 it is, ladies and gentlemen. And now, as the top 5 contenders, the BTR for elimination, RRQ with the 4 elimination as well. The only team amongst all of these names, all of this top 5, is Vikings with 9 and Todak with 6 that has the highest out of those 2. But everybody's almost duo, like solo duo at this point in time. We can see Viking, the highest number of elimination in the lobby, having just a solo guy. Todak with 6 elimination and 2 players remaining into the match. BTR securing their 5th elimination, RRQ with the 3-man, but the main question still remains, are they going to be able to get that Nogat revived or not at one point in time? Because if it's not the situation, then RRQ is also potentially down to the last 2, but Fedralis is moving forward against Lapad. Lapad, the grenade guy, let's see if he's going to be able to get that grenade connection, and that he does! Fedralis gets a knockdown, he will get the confirmation by Todak. Wait a second, that's a third party coming around. Are you gonna get that steal of that elimination number, or Todak will be facing straight up into the vicinity against RRQ?
I mean, Bigatron by Vitality trying everything that they can. They want to see if they can get that first victory on Murmur again. But now Todak looking like they are picking up quite a bit of momentum here. 7 eliminations up, 2 players remaining. Let's see whether or not Skem and Cleon can lock it through. BTR by Vitality will have to settle for 5th place as Lapar from RRQ ends the run. The teams all converging over on towards the southeastern side of the zone. Let's see where this next phase is going to be taking us. Skem, though, not going to be waiting around for that to happen. Instead, is going to be cooking up the nades. But RRQ trying to just keep themselves out of harm's way. Based on the numbers, though, I think T2K are looking pretty solid here as the zone just centers up on itself. Not going to be forcing any crazy plays, but it's going to be making it especially difficult for these teams now to kind of conclude this match, as we are pretty focused on the mountain. With that, it is going to be RRQ getting hit yet again. The pressure is on Lapar. Now the last one left to make a difference as T2K starts their push. They get ready for the flush. They want to try and lock this one in.
They're definitely trying to lock this one in. The grenades are going, but not getting any kind of connections. RQ will also get that revival to their names, as you can see all of those grenades that have been going around. They misses, but this time around, Ruled OG, his grenade is going to mark its territory on the player once again. RQ down to the last player again. It is the revive that needs to be done, but Ruled OG, the main question still remains: how are you going to climb up this mountain to take the forefront, a face-front fight against the team RQ? There's also Todak into the back lines, into the very other side of the mountain, taking the fight against the team Viking. It's a 1 versus 1 over there. It's a 3 versus 2 right here at this point in time. RQ once again getting that revive towards their players. The grenades are going around, but RQ, they're more focused on getting those shots with the S12K maybe on the player side, but the main question remains if there's going to be a connection, and the answer is no, as T2K will get that connection. And once again, RQ back to where they started. A solo player going around, taking 1, taking 2 down, getting a finisher on both of those players as Todak is coming from the back line. Labar barely on the survival HP, but the grenade mark its way. It's over as T2K managing to make a 1 versus 1 out of the situation. Todak slipping down from the mountain, making it a 1 versus 1 as Skem versus Leah. It's the only one-way one fight.
Yep, it's a 1v1 to close off this match. Game now going to be looking to push on forward. 3 eliminations up already. Are they going to be able to find that final play, as we are now within stage 9? So they're going to have to be really quick, or the blue will end it for them. But it's going to be a dance around the rock here. Playing at the angles, looking for the opportunity. Let's see whether or not Leah can get the read on the play. This game now being quite noisy up top. So Leah knows exactly where to try and focus. It's now just essentially a waiting game, a bit of a surprise game as well. Serious angle of hide and seek. But there we go. Scheme now figuring out, okay, we're going to have to push it forward. A nice little underhand lob down as the grenade does find a little bit of damage. Starting the fight off here. Final 2 players looking to close it out. Who will be the one to walk away victorious? Who will get that winner chicken dinner? Is it going to be Todak or T2K to be the one? Now, Skem, oh, so close. You can see the shots there from the S12K, just ricocheting off the side of the mountain. Quick little change over to the UMP, looking to see if the Molly could maybe lend themselves a bit of a helping hand here. But you got to be careful with these angles. If you shoot too far, that could be your fate signed and sealed. But Todak, Skem though, making sure that they are ready for this final push.
Let's see what's going to happen. It's both of these teams just chilling out here, making sure that the other enemy, the opponent, approaches the situation. He falls down to his elimination, to his demise. As, oh my goodness, a very amazing winner of a chicken dinner just occurred. Todak not doing anything, just letting T2K fall down to their demise, securing that winner with a chicken dinner for themselves. It's a really, really unique start of the minimum match at the very honestly clean Skem. There is the Todak's 50 L1, H1, and MVP, and 696. These 4 guys were in the game, but Skem is the one responsible for surviving till the very end.
Yeah, and of course, Tinzi coming through with a beautiful play as our match MVP. 5 eliminations and nearly 1,000 damage getting secured in that. But I'm not really surprised to see this be the kind of outcome from the Vikings, right? With them getting that MVP play as well. Because honestly, I think the spot that they had situated up on towards the mountain, just to that northern side of Impala, that was the place, right? That was the spot. That was the angle to capitalize on, especially looking at how the zone had shifted out. And I mean, they got the eliminations to prove it, right? Hitting those double digits. So just shows you if you get a good read on the zone and you have a beautiful position, you could definitely look to capitalize on that. So big ups going out to the side here of the Vikings. Tins making their team proud. The first MVP award. But I got to say, though, Torix, right, it was a lot of insanity in this first game. 19 total points going over to the side here of Todak with 9 elims and that winner chicken dinner. But Vikings Esports coming in with a beautiful performance, 11 eliminations, even though they didn't quite make it into the top 3.
They were somewhere in the top 4 or something like that. But RRQ, it is, ladies and gentlemen, that is on the hashtag number 3. 11 total points, 10 for the T2K, falling down to their demise. That they could have been on the number 1, ladies and gentlemen. But no, it is a nope situation for them. But moving on forward, it is Sakuda with the 7, Bigatron by Vitality with 8 total points, the Bloods Official with 6, 5 for Champions, 4 for Glue, Sem9, Skyforce with a 3 alongside a Vampire, and Boom Esports. But I do love it, the full factor that D Xavier, Triber, Messi, Regicide, even DRS managed to secure at least one elimination for themselves. ASI8 is the only team amongst this first match that couldn't get even a single point.
I mean, it's definitely not a bad start. And looking at what ASI8 were doing, also, they found themselves in quite a bit of a sticky situation, rotating up from that southeastern side, moving into these last few phases. So, they definitely weren't one of the first to go. Unfortunately, though, as we saw, not a single point coming their way. But there we have it. Our first winner chicken dinner, Todak, coming in clutch here, securing the victory. And that is 1 of 6 done. We still have 5 more to go. 2 more Murmurs to see how these teams are going to be situated with regards to those points. But that, of course, means next up, we are going to be heading into the lovely Erangel.
Oh yeah, it's Erangel time, ladies and gentlemen. The match number 2 from me. It is Erangel this time, the first Erangel of the day. But the amount of aggression that we saw into the Miramar, I do believe so that Erangel is also going to follow up at the same pace. Maybe even the more faster pace than this one, because you won't have enough spaces in, I'd say, Erangel like you had into the Miramar. But ladies and gentlemen, before heading over to our match number 2, we will be heading to a very short break. Do not go anywhere. Stay here with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everyone. We're getting ready to move into our second match of the day. The first Murmur done and dusted. Turca coming in with a beautiful, beautiful performance. But now comes the big question here, Torix. Who's going to rise to the occasion come game number next? Right, it is going to be an opportunity to see who will be able to translate potential aggression from the Murmur over onto Erangel. And also, can we see a few of the teams that went out early, right, to get more than 1 point? Are they going to be able to survive into those later stages? Can we see DX Xavier? Can we see Tribe Aramis? Maybe even Regicide comes through with a bit of a play here. And of course, if my camera will kind of keep up with me, we could get right into it to see how this is going to pan out.
You were so fast on that information that your camera even got stuck at one point in time. But yes, it was an amazing start. It was a great aggressive stance for at least the match number one so far. But we do have to see what the next match is going to make for the team, the Erangel. What's going to bring up here? How much of a destruction can actually occur into the Erangel match? At this point in time, I'm going to be so excited to see the same momentum, the same aggressive stances that we saw into the Miramar happening once again into the Erangel. But with a more twist of third parties, fourth parties going around into the area. I want to see those potential drop clashes locations like the Pochinki, like the in fact not Lipovka, the Yasna Polianas, the Jojo Pools, the Novorupnoy, those being contested by the teams, or rather than those small city areas where there's only 2 teams, 3 teams going around. No, I want those big cities to be contested by multiple teams.
Yep, I'm going to have to say that I'm right there with you. So there's going to be some expectation as to how the teams will look to kind of apply themselves coming into this first Erangel of the day. I hope to see a bit of a hot drop, right? We had a lot of that coming in onto Murmur. Unfortunately, going into Erangel, there's not really the same kind of mountain like we had to the northern side of Impala. I think the closest that we have to that is potentially Everest. So it was either Everest or Potato Hill itself. So I'm curious as to whether or not that is going to be center zone, or we could have something else maybe coming into play. Previous season, if there's anything to go by, this is going to be pretty hot and heated. So let's see what our first Erangel will bring. A nice northern rotation with that flight path itself. So yeah, zone is free to go pretty much anywhere.
I mean, it can go anywhere, but so far it is somewhat the northern side favored. But still, majority of the hot drop location like Pochinki, the Jojo Pool, even the northern city of the Jojo Pool, the Yasna Poliana, Rozhok is accessible for the teams. Even there is Taverny into the proximity that can be accessed by the teams. But the main question is, how many of these players are going to go for that aggressive approach once again into the Erangel match? This is the second one. This is the first Erangel of the whole Lidoma Asia Showdown season number 4 for all of these teams, and I kind of want to see a very aggressive approach. Sakudai alongside of team RIQ, they're going towards the Zarki region, so it is a contestation over there. But Rozhok, I see nobody going around. Maybe BTR might take a little bit of stop over there, but aside from that, they're going to the school, apartments, all those areas. Pochinki is being contested by the D Xaviers. DRS is also going into the open side areas, open side locations. But remember, Messi. Okay, this is a big, weirdness for me. Aside from Yasna Poliana, this team decides to go now Kameshki and those very hard eastern corners, the shorelines, for some reason.
Yeah, it is definitely a very interesting drop location that they've decided to go for here. I mean, that could maybe be the play, right? Get yourself out of harm's way. Make sure that nobody can catch you off the gate here. So there could be a bit of an angle. But now it's going to be Vikings that started us off with a beautiful bit of aggression in the previous match. Now having to face the music, right? I'm not quite sure if they're going to be able to get 11 eliminations this time around. Again, as they only have 1, and already the knocks are starting to line it up. Superman and Wound will definitely have to try and pick up quite a bit of a pace here. But look at the spread. We got 3 squads right here. The Vikings, we got Todak, as well as, of course, Skyforce holding their presence right here. Icy, Godless, the rest of the crew, this is now their opportunity to really come through with a bit of a punch.
I mean, you see the horse in the middle of all of this contestation,
Yeah.
just to walk in and getting that grab, and that was a breaking point on me. But ladies and gentlemen, it is 3 different teams into this proximity that's gonna take the fight, that's gonna take that contestation for themselves. Moon T, so far in this area, just chilling around. But I do love that one factor that you can see the plane line that we saw at the northern corner, but this team decided to go towards the south side, a little bit to the south side. Gutka, not only him, there's 2 more different teams, but into the kill feed we can see the T2K versus ASI8 once again happening. ASI8, they lost one of their early players with the knife, and now the second player has also been taken down. The third one also on its verge. Casanova is the one responsible to take at least a 1 knockout into the proximity. But aside from this, whereas the fights are happening at a different location, the players, the placement where there's 3 different teams just contesting against each other, they're not even budging an inch.
Yeah, they're not going to be looking to give anything up just yet. Now, ASI8, this is their opportunity to get some points on board. Calm, again, finding themselves in quite a bit of a predicament, right? Not exactly how I think they would have liked this match to turn out. But let's see whether or not they could maybe find a way to fight back. T2K, yeah, they've got only one thing on their mind, right? They are looking to close it up, show as much aggression as they can, and of course, claim Savoni for themselves. And it's going to be short-lived because we've got about 4 minutes and a bit of change left on the clock before the teams will have to rotate all the way down to that far eastern side, all the way down towards Malta Power. Now, the Vikings find themselves in a bit of a showdown, as we saw 3 squads moving into this location. Skyforce could definitely look to leverage the angle here.
That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. So far, it is Todak, MV, KE, Boonty. The fight is finally happening. Skyforce also pushing on as Icy having the 1897 in the hand. And in this area, Superman in the compound is not moving too much. But with Vector, you have to be very precise that even like smallest, like almost half round, if it messes up, it's gonna mess up everything. But Icy, you just barely managed to survive the Icy shotgun. But now the second one is gonna make its way. Superman being knocked out. It's a confirmation. 2 eliminations without a casualty, but the knockouts are there. The knockouts are definitely there. Sanchir is also knocked down. The 696 is finally gonna make the contestation and worthwhile to his time. That's the second elimination that they're gonna have, and also a revive is coming on its way. Tinsy low on that HP. Nobody has any kind of healings. That's the major thing. That's the major part. Nobody has the healing, but there we go. The shot's coming around. Viking Esports is the first one to get eliminated. Todak once again going for the revive. 696 reviving his team member as also the Skyforce with all of their manpower. They're going to push around in this area. The team that got the Vinamina chicken dinner to the last match is instantly going to be taken down early staged in the very next one. So it's this single guy, 50 Lin MVP. 50 Lin MVP, the solo guy. He's there with the Uzi, managing to get a lot of damage. But he has to be very careful. The moment he's going to like show his face to that door, it's over for him.
Yeah, I think it's Solihin or something like that. Apparently, if you read the numbers as letters or something, right? Who knows? But here we've got Stickley. I like this. This is a good play on the team name, Glue Squad, right? You got to stick it to them. Yeah, makes 100% sense. I do have to say I appreciate that so much. Todak also going to be the next team getting taken out of here, as we do see the top 2 squads already getting swept under the rug. Not going to have a repeat play this time around. Now it is going to be T2K, of course, coming into second place finish in the last match. Ooh, now securing themselves a few plays along the way. ASI8 again finding it pretty tough to secure any points. So they are sent back with a few more additional donuts. And that's not the way that you want to try and close it up, right? You want to see if you can get points. At least this is only the first few matches of the day, so there will be still 4 more games for ASIA to try and pick it up. Meanwhile, D Xavier now getting ready to cook as they push up alongside BTR. Bigatron by Vitality already having their first player knocked down. Let's see, is Lamborghini going to be able to survive it? The pressure is on, out in the open. Beautiful spray. And this is what we love as Federales gets taken on down. Now Bumblebee, are they going to be buzzing with excitement, or could it be Optimus to pop it in? Indeed, it is Optimus. Goes for the prime angle, gets the spray. And now Parajin looking to try and come in alongside Levi's here. They have to try and pick it back up if we want to see D Xavier make it any further. But down goes Parajin. Levi's the only one left to try and make a difference.
Being the solo guy in this proximity, there's a lot of pressure on this guy from this point onward. Optimus managing to secure the backlines, making sure that the Bigatron by Vitality, not only that they can give the player a revive, but at the same time make sure that they have the upper advantage against all of this team. It's a really good one, but Bumblebee just got instantly rammed down by his own team member for some reason. But wait a second, what just happened? Levi's beautifully done, making sure that even though you're a solo player in this area, Team BTR was absolutely pushing on you. You still held your ground. You still made sure that you're the one that's going to get out of this place unscathed. But oh my god, the circle, the shift, it's all the eastern corner. It's all going east. Milta Power, Lipovka's, half of Lipovka is in the circle, but 50%, 55% of the area, the radius, is in the water. You only have a 45% of the area being able to play for yourself. DRS is in the circle. There's the D-Saviors. In fact, Boom Esports in the circle. Tribero Messi is also in the circle. This is the only three teams that you can see safely inside. Aside from that, whether it's Sem9, whether it's Vampire, whether it's anyone, absolutely anyone, they have to make their way in the circle, and that only means one thing. There's going to be a lot of annihilation, and that's happening as well. Bloods official TMG8 managing to get a knockdown. It is an instant almost confirmation as a player will bleed out in a short while, and that's the 6th elimination that this team is going to have.
Well, I mean, things are going pretty crazy so far. Not quite sure even what to make of this, as Bluz now are going to be looking to bring in a bit of a stronger play this time around. They were able to find themselves those 4 eliminations in the previous game. So far, currently sitting with 7, so things are looking much, much better here for them. But are they going to be able to get out of the blue? First up, they are going to be trying to see if they can find those last few plays at the expense of RRQ. Meanwhile, DRS, they're going to be looking to rotate up, as well as they are going to be aiming for that southern side of Multa Power, or Multa rather itself. Now Sem9 just up ahead of them, also going to try and rotate through. A very spare opportunity. Quite a bit of terrain here for teams to take occupancy of.
That's the thing. 10 total teams are remaining, whereas the occupancy of the circle is a very major issue. Like, majority of the teams will instantly get eliminated, as they will try to get in the circle. There's going to be that much of a contestation going around in the area. You can see the Tribero Messi at the very corner, close to Boom Esports, but Boom Esports are realizing that, okay, this is not a safe spot for them. They decided to move away. They decide to go into a safer side, but Bloods official and RRQ, I can't say the same for them, as RRQ finally getting eliminated by the Bloods official. But I do see one complete finisher on TMG8, the player that did got 1 elimination, 2 eliminations in the very total for the team outside of the circle that they are so far. 8 elimination in this match, 6 total points in the previous one, meaning a total of somewhere 14 points to these guys' name. But T2K, not only they're in the circle, they have like 4 eliminations so far, with almost the solo player surviving into the area. Full HP it is, but circle, it's going to take another shift. On the northern side, T2K, where they are residing, the only team at the northern corner, Rules OG, as a solo player, just chilling out there. He has the circle, still have the circle for himself. He can still go there, but majority of the teams that were at the very south side, now they will have to move towards the Milta Power Plant. And moving to the Milta Power Plant instantly mean one thing. Boom Esports, they're not going to let this opportunity go by unscathed.
Yeah, I mean, and also there's not a lot of terrain now to play for, as we can see that map looking pretty crazy, right? The teams looking to move up, and as we know, this region. I mean, this is essentially now turned this game into Sanhok, right? Because there's not a lot of angles that they can look to take up. There is going to be a pretty contentious play here at hand. But now for DRS, I like this. Moving on to the southern side, looking to play at least the cliffs. Does provide them with a bit of an opportunity. They have a clear line of sight over towards that bridge, or rather not the bridge, the beach that is going to be towards the south. And I mean, vampires are yet to move up. So many squads looking to find that next position, call home. And this is exactly the kind of read that you are going to go for. Vampires, though, they've decided to opt in for a little bit more of a western rotation, making their way through the lumberyard. And it's a tough rotation because, again, right, finding a safe entry on this edge, there's no compounds in the immediate area, aside from, of course, the lumberyard for the time being. All the other spots are going to be up on towards center zone, and the few angles over on towards the west is now going to be contested as Glue Squad are going to try and fend off the advances coming through from the Vampires. A nice little bit of an altercation here, getting ready to roll on in. Both squads looking for the angles, looking for the points, but who will be the one to get it in? Vampires, they came into this match with 3. The Glue Squad came in with 4, so they are essentially side by side with regards to the overall points here.
I mean, it's going absolutely amazing. It's going absolutely crazy for all of these players. Surviving in the small of a circle, small of a radius is already a huge thing for the players. But now, taking the fight in this one, it's going to be another big thing that's going to happen. Glue Squad, so far, they're throwing those utilities. Noel managing to get one down. Second one with the grenade. Meowla is also down. There's a Zane being knocked out as Sento, the last guy, the only hope for the team. It's all up to him. He's in the compound. He's still in the other building. The grenades are going around into the proximity. The damage is being done. He is alone, that HP. Someone needs to go rush upon this guy, get that elimination, and this grenade is going to mark its end for the Vampire Esports Glue Squad for elimination, ladies and gentlemen. The circle is going to take another shift, this time to the multi-power plant, the power plant circle. It has been a while since we have last seen that. In my whole lifetime, I have not seen a circle go exactly to the multi-power plant.
Well, I mean, there's always time for a first, right? And this seems to be exactly that. As, gotta say though, Tribe Eremisi, they look like they've got a beautiful position, right? They have the setup that they need to try and drive this one home. Sem9, of course, going to be knocking on the door, but DRS up onto the north. Yeah, it's going to be a pretty tough one. At least they have a little bit of a plateau here to try and play off of as they now look to utilize the opportunity. Get themselves a little bit more secured here, trying to lock down the angles. But Tribe Eremisi, as we saw in the previous season, they are going to go for insanity here. D2K not going to be making out of this one in one piece as they get wrapped up in 7th place. Rig and the rest of the crew here from Eremisi, though, keeping a very tight angle. Killer taking quite a bit of damage, almost getting dropped on down. And this could be that opportunity, that opener that Tribe Eremisi could be waiting for. But now, pressure's on, right? The eastern side of the zone, not a lot of angles to play off of. These cliffs could maybe buy them a bit of time. But we do see some movement coming in on towards that southern side as well.
Oh, yeah. Everybody right now that is alive, these top 6, they will definitely try that. But at the same time, you see the bottom line teams, Boom, Tribe Eremisi, DRS, they're potentially a full squad. Glue Squad is also a full squad in the area. Sem9 and Bloods Official, the only 2 teams that has a duo to their name. Aside from them, everybody else is a full squad. So everybody knows exactly what they're doing. Everybody knows, okay, what their rotation and what their strategy is going to be. As they have a full squad, they can absolutely use the strategy that they have been going throughout the whole game for themselves. Noel going on into the compounds, just barely getting themselves into the safe circle. But the next shift, that's going to occur in 1 minute and 15 seconds. That's going to be determining on whether the teams will be surviving outside here, or they're instantly going to be going ramming down against one another. You can see the Tribe Eremisi just split up completely into the areas and into the minimap. There's also the Bloods Official. I do believe so. That's Bloods Official into the back lines, just chilling out there as a duo at that proximity. Sem9 potentially almost in the Milta power plant alongside of Boom Esports? I do believe so. Sem9, 2 players are here. 2 maybe into the Milta power plant, but the rest of the Boom, I want to see Boom Esports because it's been a while since we have last seen Boom's location, and I do want to see what they're up to and what strategy are they potentially using right now.
Yep, I have to agree with you. It could be quite interesting to see how this one is going to play out. We are in stage 4 and only 6 teams remain. It's like we've stepped into a little bit of that Sanhok action. I think this is probably the closest that we are going to get to Sanhok, right? Is looking at the super aggressive zone shift over on towards the far eastern side. But now, DRS keeping it nice and quiet, just trying to get a good read on the situation, looking what angles are available to them. But here we have it, as now DRS have not really seen all too much just yet. Sem9 though, beautiful bit of a setup on the edge of zone. Glue Squad also going to be looking to see if they can find a way forward. But not much has really opened up or revealed itself with regards to the edge of zone play. I mean, Glue Squad, they've been on the edge over on towards that western side for a good while now, and they are still there. But they're going to have to move in the next few moments.
That's the thing. Everybody has to move. Everybody has to take a stance at this point, because if you don't, you're going to be not in the grace of the circle from that point onward. You're going to receive a lot of damage. This is the stage number 5. Sem9 still in the circle. Triber Messi right into the back lines. There is also another team into that proximity that I do want to see who they are and what they're doing. In fact, that is Bluzz official as a duo at the northern angles. They have to move in the circle, meaning they have to take the fight against the team Sem9 at one point in time. They're also going to have to take the fight against the team Triber Messi at the placements where they will be rotating. But Glue Squad now finally moving to the areas where Boom Esports is residing at. The fight is inevitable. From this point onward, the fight is inevitable by any team that even tries to make a single directional move from one direction to another. You have to take that fight. Triber Messi versus DRS, it's going to happen as well. The grenades are being thrown away. Yet out are receiving a lot of damage, but Boom Esports grenade is going to connect on Stickly. Stickly is going to be down. Delta is down, as well as we can see Triber Messi kind of being on the receiving end and super farther away from every single one of the players. Bluzz official also pushing on. That's 10 elimination that this team is going to have for themselves. Sem9 is not looking good for you guys. The grenade is going to be thrown away onto the players by Vocade. Not a connection. Not a connection right there. But DRS, so far, you can see into the kill feed as well. They're also making sure that they're booming up. They're getting those elimination. They're making sure that the casualty is drawing some decent number of attention to them. That's the first elimination that they're going to have. But Glue Squad, again, using the utilities, using the gun powers that they have, taking down one of the Boom Esports' player. And right there, and then Boom Esports is out of the match.
Yeah, well played to Glue, really sticking it to them. But now it's going to be Triber Messi looking to kind of hold it out against DRS here. DRS, one elimination up to their name so far. Triber Messi, they've had a pretty good read on this zone shift for this entire match, as they've been just holding on to a beautiful northern setup here. But now DRS pushing right, up to them. The first few hits are in. That is going to be Tricks down. Lonely now getting met with the nades. Just managing to evade a little bit of the damage here, but Triber Messi, they could look to close this one up. Yep, Giante sends it over. Are they going to be able to close it up? Trying to pull off the res. The utility coming in as a response as the mollies now get popped over the ridge, and that is going to be Lonely going in for a bit of a swim. Oh, Yetauja now having a bit of an opportunity to maybe try and close this one off, but there is still hope now for Triber Messi, as it is just essentially Killer that is going to be posing the big threat, right, for the rest of the squad of DRS. It's not going to be easy as Yeta Uta now comes in. Okay, just find a bit of an angle. Giante and Rig, they're going to be hoping to try and maybe just pick up the straight, and in doing so, they can get their squad back onto a 3-piece.
Oh my god, the grenades are definitely coming around in this area, in this proximity from the backside. DRS's one player comes out of the game, and wait a second, Glue Squad, you were just right there fighting with the Boom Esports. Now you're here taking down the DRS Glue Squad, taking the fight against the Team Triber Messi. The grenades are going over. You can see already 2 players with Triber Messi being down. Trix is the final hope, and there we go. Trix being eliminated. Gante also almost going to receive the damage from the grenade. The shots are coming in. Glue XKF getting that knock, getting that confirmation, but giving enough time to Trix to get that survival done, healing done, but nope, it's not going to work out as Glue Squad. That's the 16th elimination that they're going to have, potentially 17 elimination. Winner chicken dinner is about to load. Gyro Sir is in the front proximity. He doesn't know that Glue Squad is giving that revive first before getting that engagement done. Gyro Sir, he's going to stop here. He's instantly going to be rammed down with that obliterative S12K, and it's over. 17 elimination to the team that was almost at the verge of elimination at one point in time into the very end stages.
I mean, what a play that was, though. Glue Squad coming out of nowhere. They almost look like the Power Rangers if you look at these outfits. I mean, hey, right? Power to them because they really brought in the heat in this game. Of course, we did see them drop all the way on that far western side, close to essentially the Georgia Bull crate area, right? The container yard. And then coming through with the rotations, pushing the envelope, continuing to keep that pressure up and timing the execution to perfection. Of course, it is going to be KF coming through with a glorious 9 eliminations, taking the MVP here for game number 2. What a performance.
What a performance it is. Amazing. I have to say, Glue Squad, they have totally beat up any expectations, and they just came out straight on the top. 27 points in a single match is a very huge number. Blood's official with 18 total points. Triber Messi with 7 for Sem 9. We do see DRS with a 5 for T2K, RRQ with a 5 as well, alongside of Sky Force, 4 for D Xavier, Boom 3 alongside of Vampire, Brigatron by Vitality, and Todak. Once again, ASIA champion Viking, they're having a 1-1 elimination, but Regicide and Sakudai this time around. These are the names. These are the 2 names that will not have even a single point for themselves. Match number 2 done and dusted. I do want to see like the overall ranking right now on what's the difference that this 27 points is gonna make into the very overall ranking. But there we go. Even with the Wait a second. What's going on?
That's impressive, right? We have a lot of chickens getting dealt out. Yeah, I mean, we've got 1 full. I mean, it's crazy, right? It was such an insane game that someone snuck into the chicken coop and got their hands on a few additional points across the board. Of course, that's obviously not the correct points. We'll get the correct ones on board, and well, there we go. We can see it right there. At least this is still the match rankings. 27 points though. I mean, it's close to the 30 bomb that we saw in the previous season, right? But the 30 bomb didn't come in on the first day.
Yeah.
The 30 bomb only came in much later on. So, yeah, the pressure is on as the Glue Squad. They are in here. They mean business. But you got to give it up to Blood's official as well, right? Because if you recall, in the previous game, they kept that momentum going. They only got 4 eliminations and 2 placement points, getting 6 total, right? This time, they get 6 just in placement and double that with regards to elimination. So a beautiful comeback on their end. But yeah, a few squads unfortunately not going to be picking up any points this time around. I'm happy to see that ASI 8 at least got a little bit of something on the board here, right? Got that 1 elimination, got that point this time around. Regicide and SKD, unfortunately not going to be able to brag about points just yet.
I mean, R3G was the team that got 1 point into the previous match. This time it is ASI 8. So they're taking the turns, taking that one point for themselves. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the match ranking that is on your screen. I can safely assume that, okay, with this winner chicken dinner that Sakuda in fact Glue Squad got for themselves, they will be cementing the top position at the very least for themselves. They will be on the hashtag number 1 whatsoever. But what about the other teams like Bluz Official, Tribero Messi? They have been consistent as well. What kind of a placement are they going to have? What kind of placements are they going to be on into the overall ranking? But yes, DK, this was the match number 2 that just got like finished off in a short while. But now it is Miramar again. Once again, we started with the Miramar. The second Miramar is about to occur.
Yep, it's about, it's almost going to be time to go with that yet again. But yep, just looking at the points overall, I think Glue Squad are sitting, I think, potentially on 31 points. That is, of course, if you add 27 to 4, that amounts to 31. So that is going to be what pole position is worth. Yeah, I don't know where the rest are, right? I can't do that much math this quickly, so we'll find out once we have it be official on screen as well. But of course, we're just waiting to see what those points are to get the exact numbers. So we'll take a look at that very, very soon. But yeah, I gotta say though, what a start, right? What an Erangel to play through, because I would never have expected the zone to take such a far eastern shift, especially pulling into multi-power, as you've said, right? You've never seen a zone go there. So you're welcome, right? Now you have it. Right, but an interesting thing that I'm also trying to figure out exactly is kind of like where the players there from Bluz kind of drop, because I'm looking at the early locations that they found themselves, you know, where the teams kind of broke off into, and I can't really exactly figure out where they went. Right, I mean, Tribe Eremisi, they went up to the north, they were just riding the zone the entire time, all the way down in towards that multi-power position, and then Glue comes out of the blue, and they're like, yeah, that's fine. You know, have a sticky bomb. Boom. There you go. It's ours now. But that's one thing that I actually want to see. I want to see Glue Squad comes through with the sticky bombs, because I think that would just be beautiful, right? It kind of plays into their whole brand. So, yeah, there's a lot to be seen here. But interesting thing, though, the teams that were performing like absolute monsters in the previous season, especially coming into the grand finals, I think they're holding back a little bit, right? Because we're not seeing as insane plays. Yes, they are pretty good at taking the engagements, but there's not a lot of good results coming through from those, right? Like, they get involved, they find the plays, they find the angles, and then it's kind of like, yeah, it's okay. We'll continue a little bit later on. So I think it gives these teams that are new to the season kind of, you know, it gives them a bit of a morale boost, because they're like, oh yeah, look at us go. But if the other squads are not careful, it might come to bite them in the butt. There we go. It is going to be the Glue Squad with an 8-slot jump, 31 points on board. Bluz Official coming through on 24. And then Todak with that winner with a chicken dinner on game number 1, currently sitting in 3rd place.
I mean, just the 2 points difference from the number 2. That's kind of insane. I do have to give it to them, even though the chicken dinner is there. It's not enough to take you down into the top 2 placements. But RRQ on the number 4, they go down 16 total points, 16 for the Vikings. So we can see T2K with 15, 11 for Bigatron and Sem 9. But Trivero Messi, this match was almost good for these guys. 8 total points. Sky Force on the second chart is also having 8 points for themselves. There's Sakudai, 7 total, 6 for DRS alongside a Boom, Vampire, Champions, 5 for D Saviors, and as we do talked about, ASI8 and Regicide with just 1 point to their name. Not a good start for the Pakistani teams, at the very least, for the first 2 matches into the area, but 2 matches are done and dusted. Miramar and Erangel, the first set of these matches are done and dusted. Match number 3, the Miramar will begin in a short while. But yes, that is a question on how the players are gonna like play into the Miramar match, how they will be like taking their momentum, what kind of a circle we're gonna see. This is a question that will be answered into the Miramar, ladies and gentlemen. But for that, we do have to go and take a short break. Do not go anywhere. Stay here with us and enjoy the highlights.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're getting ready for game number next, match 3. We're getting ready to hop into the desert. We've seen one Miramar. We've seen one Erangel. We've seen a lot of crazy stuff happening in just these first 2 matches. Already we're sitting with 31 points for the team up in the front, right? So that show that they're here. They mean business. But I think, Torix, the big question is going to be who means the most business coming into this next game, right? Are we going to see potentially Tribe Eremity this time locking it in, going for gold, looking to get that winner chicken? That could we have Bigatron by Vitality looking to rise to the occasion? Or could we see a few of the teams that are sitting with single-digit points to their name coming in clutch here and securing themselves the victory?
I mean, it's Miramar, so it's all the matches of unexpectancies going around. The first Miramar, within the 5 minutes, we had 6 teams eliminated, right? So I'm expecting this kind of aggression once again into the Miramar. But after this match, as the first day will conclude to a half day, we might see some potential shifting into the momentum, maybe for the players, or maybe it's gonna go top notch more. It's gonna dial up more on the aggressive sides. So this is a question that will be answered after this match. But for now, yes, it will be an aggressive match, first of all. But the main concerning factor, the previous match, the circle was at the eastern side. Will it be eastern side once again towards the water areas? Oh, it's going to go land, completely land. Oh, it's that much land that it's actually inaccessible to the very western side area.
Ooh. Sure. I don't know. It could go in any of those directions. We'll find out. I mean, if it's going to be a super aggressive western shift, I've only seen a zone like that, I think maybe 2-3 times before. So that could definitely be quite interesting to see how the teams will go. The craziest one I've seen has ended. You see that little dip right alongside Ladriera on the far western side on that non-playable area? I've seen the zone end there before. So if it could go that far west, I think it's going to bring quite a bit of chaos and carnage along with it. But for the time being, it does seem like the teams are going to be playing along the plane path here. No one looking to do anything crazy just yet, but that all can change in a moment. So let's see. It does seem like La Bendita or potentially even Minas Generales could be the place to go for the early game action.
I mean, it's only going to take a moment. It's only going to take a spark to ignite the fire between the teams. ASI 8 going south, maybe towards the Los Leones, but no, okay, they stopped there. They stopped at the Minas Generales. There is also Boom Esports still on the parachute, trying to glide up, but the circle's going to go south. Not too much south, not too much north, okay, not even in the center, a little bit tilt to the south side. Now DRS, once again, it is a fight between these two teams. We saw it into the first Miramar, and once again we are seeing the DRS taking the fight against the team Vikings at this point in time, as 2 players of the team DRS gets knocked down. The Mini 14 is actually mark its way. It's a knockdown right there and then. 1 versus 1 it is, ladies and gentlemen, but Kilo YT is making absolutely sure that whatever he's doing with the knockouts, he's finally pushing in with the elimination numbers, the confirmations going around. Kill YT, it's a back and forth going around. Jump fire, a good shot, 11 bullets, 3 bullets more, 4 in the S12K. You have to get that connection. He does get that connection. Now only 2 bullets remain. Reload, back to the 4. It's a 1 versus 1 going on. UMP 45, but Thompson with only 3 bullets right there. 30 in the chamber. Once again, it is a flashbang. The player cannot see for whatsoever. The S12K is still going to connect it. There we go. Viking Esports out of the match at DRS. Killer YT. A 1v4. He does.
I mean, who would have thought, right? You would think that the Vikings could get the jump with the opponent not being able to see, but turns out that's not the thing, right? DRS bringing in the heat. Yeah, big ups to them. But speaking about the big ups, now we are going to be looking over towards the players here from RRQ as they find themselves patiently awaiting the opportunity to rush on forward as the Enda del Patron seems to be the hot spot to play at here. DRS, they're going to have to get themselves patched real quick Because RRQ, once they find this opportunity, once they rather find this opening, it is going to be go time. We do see a few more players coming in the feed there as well. The players from the Xavier finding Sekodai. So, yep, it is action, action, action all over the place. Try Berevacy. Nobody here to contest him. All the way in towards, I believe that is La Cobreria. Now, Sekodai holding it nice and steady up in towards El Pozo. The Xavier having 3 players up towards the north. We can see Lamborghini over towards a slightly more southern positioning. So that 3-1 split is going to try and award them a little bit more information. But the Xavier now playing for the positioning, right? Taking 2 players, going elsewhere. They're just leaving. They're like, yeah, it's fine. Something will happen soon enough. Well, Lamborghini is going to be trying to rather fill themselves up, holding a nice and steady bit of Overwatch.
I mean, that's the thing. Miramar, the one that we were expecting that's going to go very on the aggressive side, is not going aggressive. In fact, this Miramar is going to very passive for this time at the very least. Xavier so far on our screen at the corner of the circle. Stage number 1 is yet to close down within the 4 minutes marker, but 259 meters outside of the circle, they are close to the proximity of Sakudai. The kid of YT alongside of Yeta Uta is being knocked down by the team RRQ. No God, beauty. Now Cyclone, he's the only guy that's remaining in the game. The Thompson, it's making connections. A lot of them. He's a lot low on the HP side. Even the jump fires are not getting the shot connected. But whoa. RRQ 1897. He is in fact. Okay, for a second I was saying for just on my side, but his name is actually
Yeah,
Amazing.
I mean, if you put all of them together, it's just one big O, right? But no what a play that was. RRQ with a beautiful play there against the side of DRS, ending the match there for them. At least DRS going out here with 4 eliminations. Now, it's going to be Sekodai looking for their opportunity as, they're just making their way through here. Not really moving up too much. I did think that Lewis has moved away, but doesn't seem like that's really happened. Lamborghini's still going to be pretty much situated where we saw them the last time. I'm very curious as to where the rest of the team went, right? Where did the Xavier go?
I mean, that is the thing. The Xaviers, the position that they have put themselves into, it's a double-edged sword. Yes, you're holding too much. You can secure those eliminations for yourself, but at the same time, staying for too long here also means that you're going to lose some of that vital HP, maybe even in the small chunks right now. It's still going to do some of the damage that you're going to be forced to use those bandages, those healings for yourself at one point in time, and maybe not going to be able to secure those numbers, but you can see Todak into the kill feed. They're getting those knockdowns, they're getting those eliminations, but at the same time, they're also receiving the casualties for themselves as well, as they're outside of the circle so far. They have 1 player knocked out. Blood Official is another team that's outside. 1 player, TMG8. He is just in the Campo Militar area, the very northern angles, the very northern side. So almost like 1300 meters, 1400 meters maybe. He still needs to move inside of that circle, but Blood Officials are okay. He's 700 meters away. 1 minute only, and the first stage will close on. I'd say a good thing for this match is that if even within the 8 minutes marker, we still have like 16 teams alive into the game. Even with trio, duos into the proximities, the team is still a team. There is a slight chance, there is a possibility that player can survive till the top 5, maybe the top 4, and secure some decent number of points for the teams. But ASI so far on our screen at the Los Leones area outskirts, I don't know what they're doing. 2 players going forward, 2 players going into the back. They're just changing directions and trying to find out, maybe waiting for the circle to first occur, and then deciding on that where the circle is going to head out. They will choose which placement they're going to hold on.
It's an interesting strategy that they are looking to play at here. The Xavier, I'm pretty sure that they've sent at least 2 of their players up in towards the zone. In the meantime, it is going to be RRQ looking to heat things up. It is going to be Skyforce right here alongside with them. And of course, here we get to take a look at where this next phase is going to be taking us. It does shift ever so slightly up in towards the power grid region. So this is going to be putting quite a bit of pressure, I think, especially towards the eastern side of zone. As we can see, a big concentration of teams now looking to rotate up exactly from there. So who will be the one to reign supreme here? I think Bigatron by Vitality, they have a golden opportunity to really try and lock down that plateau that they find themselves on. And that could also present quite a bit of leverage. Now, RRQ, though, they lock it up on the north. The Skyforce are going to be the next team down. But, of course, RRQ now gets rushed as the hits continue to roll on in here. And you got to say, this is exactly what we want to see, right? Nuga trying to see if they can get that res, pull it off before the rest of the squad now gets wiped on down. Bigatron by Vitality going to be looking to strike while the iron is hot as they look to lay into that. And in doing so, actually pushing RRQ away.
I mean, I'm loving this. I'm loving that the fight's happening. The players are deciding to move into the backlines as well. And at the same time, they're disengaging from the fight, one fight to another. That will mean that they will be given the sound cues to maybe a different team that might come into the surrounding areas to do a third party into the proximity. But T2K so far on our screen against the team Boom Esports, the grenade is being cooked from both parties. 2 seconds, 1 second, the grenade is going to be thrown. Boom Esports, he's going to receive a lot of damage. He needs to heal himself right here and now, but the grenade is going to mark its elimination. Boom Esports, hashtag number 15 in fact, and they are out of the match. 4 eliminations without a casualties. T2K, a great start, but DX, D Xaviers versus R3G. 3 players of the R3G gets absolutely decimated right there and then. R3G is absolutely down to the last guy, but what will that last guy do? This is the big question. R3G, Levi's from the DX, he's making sure that he comes in, gets that elimination, confirms it up, and R3G now surviving with just a solo player. We do have to see where they're going to head out and which placement are they going to go on.
Well, we'll find out pretty soon. But for D Xavier, things are looking a little bit better now. Meanwhile, Dardak holding on to San Martin. Ooh, that's going to be an interesting spot to rotate out of. Bluz official now finding Nuga. Down goes the first. Will Bluz be able to close this one off as RRQ now finds themselves in quite a bit of a predicament? The zone is going to be closing up in the next few moments, and that will take us straight into phase number 3. Triberacy, though, are going to be sitting in a beautiful high position here, playing the vantage point. T2K also going to be looking to push up the edge of that zone, but here we go. The next phase takes us back up into Power Grid. So Bigatron by Vitality will have to backtrack quite a bit to get themselves back in contention here.
I mean, that's the thing. That is the thing. They have to make a really big jump to get themselves back into the circle or into any kind of decent number of fights. But you can see Glue Squad at the very western side corner, close to the Champions Esports, whereas the Champions, 1 player is outside of the circle, the rest of the 3, they're close to the proximity of the DX, D Xaviers. The fight will definitely occur, maybe in a short while, but Blue Squad, they're like, okay, we're not going to take the fight. They are definitely not in any way trying to make any kind of contestations for themselves with Bigatron at the eastern corner. You can see them versus ASI8 versus T2K. The fight's happening. The shots are definitely commencing up. T2K is potentially down to the last 2 guys, and if it has 1 guy, Igneous is actually pushing back to the BTR angle. You can see 1 player, Ruled OG, he's not even moving an inch. He's barely budging from his location. But Igneous, I want to see what he's going to be able to do, what he's capable of. Is he going to be able to eliminate some of the players of the, at least BTR, get them into the casualties situation or not? As Casanova, he's also moving back to his own team members to get that revival done. You can see into the mini screen, you can see Igneous throwing the grenades, trying to make any kind of connectivity upon all the players. But no connectivity, ladies and gentlemen, the connectivities are not happening. BTR on the other side taking down another player of the team ASI8. Now It's a rush from ASI8. BTR losing a player, potentially leaving them down to the very last guy from this point onward, as if Adrales, the solo hope, the only hope, is going to be absolutely decimated from ASI8's hand, and giving them a chance to get all of their players that revived back on.
Well, let's see whether or not there is going to be that opportunity to bounce back. ASI8, this could be that ticket that they've been waiting for, the opportunity to secure the plays, to secure the angles. The blue still eating away at those health bars. Now, it is going to be Sekudai looking pretty golden up in towards center zone. RRQ still having a little bit of a foothold in this match. The numbers, of course, not really in their favor. Vampire Esports, though, they're going to be looking to rise on up. But, I mean, Triberacy, they find themselves in quite a bit of a position here, right? Coming up alongside Sem9 and then the players there from D Xavier. So, got to be very careful as to how you lock in that rotation. Champion Esports also not going to be trying to test their mettle as they look to get this party underway. The Xavier, though, not going to be too phased just yet. So I think for Champions, if they want some points on board, this is what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to try and take down the side of the Xavier here.
I mean, that's one thing that absolutely they do have to do. But the circle, the main question is that how the circle is going to like...
All right, well, here we go. That zone has taken us into quite a bit of a situation here. The glue squad coming through on that southern side as well. We're looking to see if they can sneak on up. But Dorix, again, right, there's no clear indication as to how this one's going to play out.
I mean, it can go at any direction in point in time. We can see the bottom line teams, they're surviving at one point in time right now in this proximity. R3G is potentially with a solo player. Vampire Esports, for some reason, they're at the very bottom as well. But Triberacy versus DX, in fact, D Xavier's, the fight's going to happen, and it's going to happen outside of the circle. So it's Sem9, Team Triberacy into the proximity, and there's also D Xavier's into the area that got into the fight. So it's not just 1, 2, 3 different teams. It's a multiple teams into the areas. It's multiple teams into the vicinity. R3G Roshan gets eliminated, but Sakudai, the grenade there, will also go in. Frank managing to get a knockdown onto the backline. He sees Rosemary. The sprays are going, but Rosemary instantly do a very big brain move. Gets into the car and just reverse that car whatsoever. Down the slope, get the momentum. The grenade goes up. Not any connection. Tricks. It's a solo guy. Tricks, but Sem9, they barely managed to scoff out of this tussle unscathed. But now, high YQ, let's see if he's going to be able to heal himself in the meanwhile and get that revival done as well. Because in a short while, in maybe 2-3 seconds, that circle, that smoke, in fact, is going to deplete out. The grenade, the damage, the absolutely anything to be thrown at player. It can be like absolutely phenomenal and can get that elimination from the side of Todak towards that angle. But Perajin, he's one of the guy against Todak that got knocked out. 8 elimination. Todak is once again in Miramar doing a wonderful job. First Miramar was their name, was for these guys. And once again, the chances, the amount of aggression that these guys are showing with the potential of elimination that these guys have. Okay, it is looking that, okay, Todak may get the winner of a chicken dinner, but I had to say that they get cursed. They get absolutely annihilated from that point with 8 elimination to their point. But DX, D Xavier's 13 elimination, DK.
Yeah, I mean, D Xavier, they're doing some pretty good work right here, as we did see that play coming on to the expense of DDK, or rather at the expense of DDK. But now another team could look to rise the occasion, right? ASIA coming through with a bit of pressure as Casanova finds Lamborghini. Quick confirmation on that one is going to be 2504. Looking to just ride it out. Calm now, looking to apply the pressure here. They're pushing up, cooking the nades, getting ready for a bit of an application. This could be a very abrupt end now for D Xavier. Beautiful nade from Calm. ASI, they need to full send, and that's exactly what they're doing as they find the shots there. Oh, things are looking pretty tough, and D Xavier slowly getting wrapped up. Absolutely taken apart, and Iron just flying across the zone as well.
I had to name them. And they just get eliminated as well. Okay, I see how it is. Next time, do not let me say the name of any other team doing good performance. But ASI, ladies and gentlemen, on our screen so far with the 10 elimination. All the 4 players remaining. Top 5 it is. 14 players are remaining into the game. Glue Squad, they're still surviving. A team that got a very amazing points, 27 in a single match of Erangel. This is a team that is once again facing the casualties. It's a knockdown going around on them, down to the last guy. Sakudai Esports in the power grid, a good placement, a good position, but I see Xbox Q so far just moving out of here, getting out of this placement. He knows what's at stake. He knows he has to be at least into the top 3 to secure some decent number of points. 13 players remaining, ladies and gentlemen. We have Champions as a solo. We have Glue Squad as a solo. Then we have Sakudai as a trio. But Team ASI 8, Team Vampire Esports, all for a man. Full squad, full-fledged squad, ready to take that action.
Well, let's see whether or not Balja and the rest of the crew, which is just them, can maybe lock this one in. So 1 player for Champions Esports. It is going to be 1 there for Glue as well. Sekudai, they've got a good spread here. They've got Power Grid under lockdown. But ASI 8, they are coming back with a vengeance. 4 players, 10 eliminations. This could be them now looking to rise out of the fire. Now, Sekudai, just doing a lot of scouting here. Trying to keep their heads on a swivel. Don't want to get surprised just yet. But as we know, Sekudai could also do with a few additional points here as well, right? I mean, everybody is going to be pretty happy with points, right? No one is going to say no to that. So Sekudai, of course, starting this match off all the way in 11th place with 7 points up. So far, been only able to find themselves 1. They are going to be capitalizing on placement points. But to make this one count, they will need to secure every additional elimination that they can find here. So maybe this could be exactly that opportunity for them. Meanwhile, ASI 8, I mean, they started the match with 1, right? They had 1 point on board. Now they took that 1 and they added a 0 to the end, right? Just rounding it off, making sure that they come in and really contest the players up on that first page of the standings. Now, baby, the rest of the team, not going to be looking to make any crazy major upsets just yet. Waiting to see where this next phase will be taking us. But Casanova, yeah, looking to extend that reach as they sneak up. Vampires just ahead of them. But I think, Torix, this is where you got to be very, very careful, right? Because if you can see the opponent, there's a good chance the rest of their squad can see you as well.
I mean, I don't know what to say at this point. The amount of circle, the radius that I'm seeing, and the amount of teams in the circle, it's kind of very... it's bogging me. It's bugging me at this point. A while ago at the start where the things should have been aggressive, it was a really, really like slow pace. But now we're in the stage number 6 and already we're down to almost the end of our game number 3. Casanova now trying to shoot down the Vampires Esports player. 1 player of the Vampires down. The second one also goes down as well. Glue Squad gets eliminated. Casanova comes into the play, makes a 1 versus 2 right there, and then it's a 1 versus 3 and he makes it up. A 14 elimination, but Casanova right after that elimination on Vampire Esports, the potential contenders. The team ASI8 is also going to lose 1 of their players. Casanova is right now knocked out. 8 eliminations. Someone needs to get this guy up and running once again, back on his feet, because he is the guy that has been aggressing the most with the most elimination to his number.
Yeah, I mean, Casanova doing amazing work right here, but they still have 2 other squads to go up against. 4 players standing between ASI8 and a potential winner chicken dinner. So the pressure is going to be on here. Let's see if Notzu can maybe get a little bit of magic happening over here. Iron, of course, just doing a little bit of due diligence, making sure that there's no surprises coming through from the Shacks. But unfortunately for Iron, they've not yet spotted Balja just here on the edge. Of course, they're just peeking over the ridge. Iron receives the reinforcements. This could potentially be the end of Champions Esports for this game. Utility starting to rain on down. A little bit of damage making its way in here. Oh, yep, there we go. It is going to be yet another casualty working in favor of ASI8. 15 eliminations. They are going to be looking to finish this one off with a bang. Now, 3 players still to go. It's going to be Sekudai. They've been very, very quiet this entire match, right? Just 1 elimination. They are going to be capitalizing on placement, but that's not really a strong play here. I love what ASI8 are doing. 4 players strong, 15 eliminations. They could make it 18.
18 can be the number with the winner chicken dinner, meaning we'll have our another highest elimination number. Last it was 27, now it will be 28 if ASI8 manages to secure the chicken dinner with all of the elimination of Sakura Esports. But ASI8 baby so far, aka Crypto, he is in the front lines with the smoke giving out his location, potential location, but Calm is being very calm at one corner of this warehouse, trying to find out where the Sakura Esports players are. The grenade is being thrown. It's not going to be enough to even get inside that warehouse. You have to move forward. You have to push forward. And moving forward, pushing forward will kind of mean that Sakura, you're going to be in an absolute advantageous position. You can easily take at least one player, maybe get him finished off at one point in time, but it's all up to Calm. If Calm is going to be able to like get a single knockdown on Sakudai, that will instantly mean a rush from ASI8 all the way to Sakudai, and that will be enough. That is going to be enough. It will all be it at that point in time. But we're waiting for the circle. So far ASI8 have to move in this circle, going straight up into the forward side. It will be like a very difficult situation for them to not get shot. It's a really tempting offer, but Himson, I kind of want to see what Himson is up to, because his location is definitely going to be crucial. He's going to take the fight against Calm. Calm is going to do a lot of damage on him. And as we see Calm now moving forward, the grenades are also being thrown. It's being cooked. Himson cooking the grenade. 1 second, last second, he's going to throw it up. He's also going to get knocked by his own grenade, sadly. And this can mean that it's over for Sakura from this point onward. Himson gets eliminated. You can see Casanova moving forward, taking a peek fire right there and then. It's 18 elimination, ladies and gentlemen. ASI8 securing that winner chicken dinner. Sakudai, the initialization was bad, and the execution, it straight went out of the window.
I mean, you got to give it up to ASI8, right? They decided that this was the match, that they are going to come back with an absolute vengeance. And boy, oh boy, did they do a phenomenal job finishing beautifully here. Of course, you can see the lineup there, but Casanova coming through with a really strong performance here. I mean, the elimination count was just up there, right? So not much that you can fault here for ASI8, and this is exactly what we love to see come through. But yeah, we are going to be heading into those points. An interesting shift in the dynamic, right? ASI8, the stone just went right in their favor. Casanova finishing with double digits, coming in with 11 eliminations and almost 1,100 damage to back that one up. I mean, yep, gotta love it.
Out of 18, this guy, the single guy, manages to secure 11 elimination. The rest of the team got 7, but the 1,074 damage indicates that he somehow maybe have secured some knockouts to his own name as well, but a decent number of placement, decent number of elimination, and a very great overall total points in this match. 28, judging the last match's 1 point, that's 29 points. Still not going to be enough for the top number 1. D Xavier, 16 total points. Todak with 9, RQ with the 8, 7 for Sakudai, Champions with the 7, alongside Vampire with the 5, T2K also 5, DRS with just a 4, 3 for Glue, Sem 9. In fact, just for Glue, Sem 9 and Bigatron is going to have 2 total points for themselves, but Tribromessy, Bloods, Skyforce, Viking, 1, 1, 1, 1, but Regicide and Boom with the donuts, with the zeros. They were the ones that couldn't get the points for themselves, but even with the not a very great performance, Glue Squad is still going to be on the very top at 34 total points.
Yeah, that's a good spot to be in. Glue Squad, they are going to try and stick to that as best they can, but look at ASI8, 14-point jump, 14 slots in one single match. I don't think we are going to be seeing much more of these kinds of plays coming through here, as of course we know the overall rankings, once we get to that second page, is going to start to tighten up as well. But yeah, there's currently not a lot really separating these squads, right? 3 points between first and second, 3 points, 2 points rather, between second and third, and then of course 4 as we move on to the next slot, then 1, then 3, then 1, then 3, then 3, right? This could all change up in one game. So there's still a bit of competition, especially I would say on this first page. But I think the second page is going to be where it's at as we now take a look at that. It is 13 points to close us off right at the top of the board. And yeah, that's it, right? Champions, Sem9, Bigatron by Vitality. They have an easy entry into that top page if they have a beautiful game number 4.
I mean, that is the thing. If they do have a good number 4 game, they can definitely come back into the number, first shot. Sem9 is also going to lose a lot of placement 3 from number 1 to number 2 because run by Vitality. They were into the previous match onto the first shot as well. But Vampire Esports, it's a plus for them. They definitely managed to secure one more placement for themselves. DRS is going to lose to their 6th placement, lost for Tribe, Messi, Skyforce with 6 placements lost as well. Then we have Boom Esports with 4 placements lost, 6, and Regicide with still that 1 point for themselves into the overall ranking. That's the halfway point, ladies and gentlemen. This is the half day concluded, but with Miramar being taken first at the very start by the team. Then we, I think it was Todak. Todak was the name with 9 elimination. Then we have Glue Squad with 18, 17 in fact elimination. Then ASI 8 with 18 elimination into the match. I can just imagine how much more aggressive all these teams can be. How much more placement and the number of elimination that we can so high at the very end of this day. Maybe we're gonna hit up the round of 30 total points at the very least after the day ends.
I mean, based on what we've been seeing so far, it makes sense, right? As you said, we had 9 eliminations, 17, now 18. So it makes sense. 30 should be the next game, right? That's just what we'll have to see. But it's not going to be an easy one for these teams to accomplish. So excited to see who will be the one to drop that 30 bomb on us. And of course, before we find out, we are going to be heading into a quick break. So be sure to stay tuned and we'll see you right back on the other side. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Of course, we're getting ready to move into the second half of the day. You're on the desk with myself, DK, and not Torix anymore. It's now Aladdin. Aladdin, how you doing?
Thank you so much for having me once again. I'm doing great, and it's Torix after the plastic surgery, you can say that. But yes, we have to head straight back into the action. Once again, it's Loma Asia Showdown Season 3, and we have best of the best teams competing. But man, oh man, that was a great match by Team ASX side. In the previous game, we saw 19 elimination numbers match, and ASX side, once again, they're telling us that they have some brilliant, skillful players in their team.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to be backing off, but I also like what Xavier were doing, right? Also securing themselves a very strong finish in this game. So the overall standing is still pretty contentious, as we've seen. But as you've mentioned, right, we are going to get ready to move into that next match. Of course, we are going to be heading straight back into Erangel. And I'm curious as to who's going to be looking to rise to the occasion, because we've seen a few contenders now stepping up to that. Of course, the last match took us all the way over towards Malta Power, so that does make things quite sticky, right? Of course, the players there from the Glue Squad were the one to secure themselves the victory there with 17 eliminations. But apparently, hopefully, according to the trend that we've been seeing coming over the past 2 games, the next match should hopefully be the 30 bomb that will get dropped on us here. I don't quite know who could be the takers for that.
Well, to be very honest, a 30 bomb is going to be very difficult now that we have team A6 side coming up and trying their level best to get those elimination numbers. But side by side, we forgot to mention one team, and that is definitely Team Dingos, because the way they played, I'm talking about DX, they had 14 elimination numbers alongside those 18 by A6 side. You know, whenever there's one team who gets some extraordinary points, it gets difficult for all the other teams to get good numbers. But Dingo's still managing to get 14 points. It clearly tells us that this lobby and specific teams, if we talk about them, they will not settle down so easily. But let's move ahead towards the next match. It's going to be played on the map of Erangel. Talk about the flight path. It starts from the northeastern side and a bit more corner towards that eastern side. Teams will definitely face some difficulties if they try to move towards that Giorgio Hospital, Gatkar, maybe the quarry side. On the other side, the circle, the first shift is definitely going to be most important factor.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that. So curious as to where exactly it is going to be taking us. We've seen a few different positions now being played out here. Hopefully for the teams, they're not going to go back onto the east, but we'll have that be an answer really, really quickly. A decent spread as the teams are starting to make their way on down. Not necessarily seeing any potential hot drops coming through. We could have a little bit of a something up there towards Savoni with T2K. Now having some company coming in pretty hot alongside them. But there we have our zone. It is beautifully centered up onto the sunken city. And yeah, I think this is a nice change.
Well, the circle definitely moved towards the northwestern side, where you can clearly see that all the teams, they will probably not face so much problems while rotating, because this circle, it has so much play area. On the map of Erangel, we usually see some circles towards the military side where teams, you know, they face difficulties. They face those bridge cramps. But for now, there's a early skirmish in which Team T2K, they're coming up against Team A6 side. And on the other side, it's RRQ versus Team DRS. Kilo IT is down, and RRQ trying to slowly, come close and get those elimination numbers confirmed. On the other side, DRS, they're coming for the rescue. They're coming for the revival. Cyclone is a bit far away from his teammates, and on this 1v3 situation, he has to do something amazing. Cyclone, let's see, is he gonna be? Is he ready to face his opponents? On the other side, A6 side, they're closing the deal and the kill feed and getting some elimination numbers confirmed.
Yeah, it's going to be go, go, go now. DRS, will they survive? Cyclone getting hit. Killer White T off the back end. Trying to pick up a little bit of that RRQ spread here. Yeto Uda now just on the edge. Very cautious not to enter just yet. But it's going to be a lot of O's just waiting on the door. Will we see that play though? Nuga, beautiful flashbang. This is going to be go time. And there we have it. Execution style coming through from RRQ. DRS down to a solo. Killer YT now essentially opting to come through just on the offside here. It's a 2v1. This could be the showdown for DRS now to secure the points on the board. They've been showing quite a bit of aggression already so far here today. But will they be able to lock it in? The res is going to come through here. Now as RRQ is back up on a 3-piece, so Killer YT really needs to keep the head on the swivel. Angles just on the side. But RRQ managing to just keep out of harm's way, and with that, clear it up. DRS will have to pack their bags and head right back into the lobby.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, DRS playing in a early on fight and then playing in a split definitely hurts them. And now they're eliminated. On the other side, it's Team A6 side versus T2K. T2K slowly and steadily, they're losing their players. And A6 side, they're closing in. I mean, probably the same mistake was made here by T2K that we saw Team DRS doing. Playing in an early fight, it requires a lot of coordination, and side by side, you have to stick together. It's a 4v4 fight, not a 1v4. You don't have to, believe in those heroics and try to go all in. Casanova, he's AFK. He's offline. And maybe that's the reason why A8 is not pushing forward. 2 eliminations confirmed, both in the backpack of Casanova. Now he's online, I guess. He's back. And once again, A6 side will try to push forward, but R3G, they're waiting. They're trying to, gatekeep this area. Whoever wins this fight and tries to leave, they will probably face Team R3G, because R3G is now showing that interest in this fight. Once again, A6 side, now that Casanova is back, they are slowly and steadily closing up with those grenades.
Well, let's see if T2K can hold their own here. It is going to be Kajai just on the window. Casanova now back in the fight here with the rest of ASI8 as they look to push on forward. And Aladdin, I'm curious as to how this one is going to go for the side there of Regicide, right? Because they are now still very spread out. We know what the fate is for T2K. ASI8, of course, now just sweeping the floor there with them. But still, there is an opportunity here for Regicide to come in. As you can see, beautiful angle here from Roshan. Up onto Casanova. The knock is there. The confirmation almost in. But the rest of I8 now need to react really quickly if they want to keep Casanova in this fight.
I think Casanova was eliminated because Roshan did not just take him down, he eliminated him as well. And that's how you get third-partied. You know, these are the disadvantage of fighting in a drop clash. All the other teams who are maybe looting close by, they will just know. They will look at the map feed of one match, and then in the other match, they will just try to close in and get their fair share in those elimination numbers. But Skyforce in a rotation fight up against other gaming. Some trades are going back and forth, and Skyforce, they have two of the players eliminated, but Riley takes that leap of faith. He was out in the open, getting shot from two different sides, yet he managed to stand, and then he took one player down. So the gaming, now they're falling back. They are not showing any interest to revive their teammates because they probably have a wrong clue about their opponents. They have no idea. Do they have any idea that it was a 2v2 situation? They could have, come back and try to revive their teammate. Sanjay gets the first elimination number confirmed, but through the gaming, they left their player to bleed out. Skyforce, they got one elimination number, but we can't say, even if they confirm this one too, it's not a good start. I mean, giving your two players away after confirming two elimination numbers, not a good trade.
Yeah, it's a pretty tough ground to try and make much of a stand on. But speaking about ground, though, Tribe Eremisi, they've covered quite a bit of ground looking to get themselves situated. And I think this compound that they're moving into is usually quite contested. You can see also Vampires just there over towards that northern side. So RRQ, the pressure is going to be on to see if they could maybe sneak in a bit of that third-party play. Skyforce just holding on the edge. Two players up. Two eliminations to their name. Sanchir now quickly just grabbing a bit of loot before getting ready to move. But I like that read coming through from RQ. That could definitely buy them quite a bit of an opportunity. Meanwhile, Tribe Eremisi, they're about to get encircled by Vampire Esports as they now start to descend down upon the compound.
Absolutely, Vampire Esports, they have to get indulged into this fight as soon as possible because the hill that they are trying to hold on, that's the worst hill in this area, because a lot of teams will try to raid from this area. They will get their angles on this team, specifically Vampire Esports will probably face a lot of third parties. They do not have to hold this. I hope that the IGL of this team is aware. This is one of those cursed hills which you cannot hold whenever the circle is, on towards that area. But wait a second. For now, Team Skyforce is getting indulged into another fight. This time around, RQ is in front of them. I mean, how are they managing to pick those players who are already how are they managing to find those teams who already eliminated the 2 or 3 players? That is something insane. But wait a second, Riley pushes forward, but he gets eliminated. A beautiful grenade by RRQ's player shuts him down. And RRQ, after one drop clash fight that they won for themselves, they got 2 more elimination points, and now that counter is getting increased. But in all that process, they lost 1 player, which is definitely going to hurt them. On the other side, there's another team this time around, also away from Nepal. It's Team Dai who's taking this fight, a close range contention where grenades are going all in. Some back and forth utility usage is being done by both the teams. And on the other side, if we look towards the circle, a southeastern shift, which will definitely reward teams to rotate inside. Not many teams will face any problem while rotation. Only you can see Team R3 on the circle that is rotating all the way from the Jojo side, and the rest are already in circle.
Yeah, I mean, a good read on these plays, though. They're coming through from the squad's nice and proactive with the rotations. But now, Sim9 still in the jungle, still going to be sipping on some blue juice. And now going to be feeling the heat as the rushes come in. But Sekudai closes it off, and down they go. Sim9 out with 9 eliminations. But I'm curious what's going to happen within the zone itself, because we did see quite a few teams already taking a good setup within that center zone. So the pressure is going to be on The Xavier, of course, pushing in from Pachinki, coming on from that southern rotation. Vampire Esports are going to be looking to close it up on towards the northern bank. But still, Team Eremisi locked in the compound in which we saw them not too long ago. Blaz Esport official, though, taking a position over on towards the eastern side here of Sanok. They do have a little bit of company sharing this position here with them, so the pressure is going to be on them to see, can they hold their own? Are they going to look to get a little bit more daring, maybe push over onto the side here of Boom Esports, or will they just keep to themselves? I think maybe keeping to themselves could be a strategy, but it does seem like they are going to be testing Boom Esports.
Absolutely, both the players are trying to test each other. But for now, I'm kind of impressed by the split of Vampire Esports. Like we saw those compounds where they had the idea that this hill is cursed and they cannot go all in. There are 4 players in front of them. You know, slamming in this lobby on a 4-player squad, that's kind of a disrespect, and it can hurt you back. And that's something that Vampire Esports knows. That's the reason why they're playing in a split. I mean, look towards the map. 2 of the players are holding towards that hilly area. One is far away from those 2 players, and it's a 1v2v1 split. That will definitely help them a lot, and they will, you know, push teams back. Anyone who tries to push here, they can definitely hold onto this area for themselves. But wait a second, circle with the northwestern shift, a bit more corner toward the side, but this will definitely force team BTR to move inside the circle. And on the other side, Dingos, who are in the Pochinki side, they will definitely try to close in. But BTR, will they try to hold the edges, or will they try to move all in? Now that teams have the idea the circle is going towards that Rozak side, they can definitely go and slam in, try to get that city area, because this urban warfare is going to get very messy. Whenever there's a circle of a city side like Rozak, you have to go all in as soon as you can, because once the teams reach there, it becomes difficult. It becomes impossible for you to, you know, breach those areas and go all in.
Yeah, it definitely is going to be quite challenging. I got to say, though, Regicide, right? R3G here looking pretty good. I mean, 3 eliminations up. They still have the full squad. But, of course, we still have 13 teams in this lobby as we now step into stage number 3's closure. Pressure is going to start to mount. As you can see, the Vikings also starting to kind of push up into the Rozak area. But again, right, there's so many points of contention here, and especially with the zone kind of being separated with that river flowing right through it. I'm going to be looking to see who's taking up that more northern position up in Rozak, and then also who will be locked in onto the more southern side of the northern half of zone. For the time being, Rozak still pretty separated as the teams look to make their way through here. Regicide, though, are going to be testing themselves against the side of Tribe Eremisi, potentially just waiting on the ridge to see what Eremisi will be doing. And I mean, I think for Eremisi, this is phenomenal because they don't have to move. They know that they're pretty safe in zone, so they can just sit back and see where this next phase could be taking them.
Absolutely. I mean, Team Vampire Esports, they had one of their player placed on that ridge that we saw Team R3G playing on. I guess that's the same player who got eliminated by Team R3G. And now Vampire Esports are forced to play together. Their split is no more in play. They have those twin compounds for themselves, and they will try to hold that area. But on the other side, RRQ coming in on towards the Rozak side. And now a couple of O's. In fact, so many O's trying to take that fight. Pushes forward on Team MVK, and RRQ getting that elimination number confirmed once again. They are indulging themselves, forcefully indulging themselves into every other fight. This time around, it was a player for MGN Vikings, and now that they know that 2 of the players are still alive, some back and forth shots are being landed on each other. BTR on the backside still waiting for these teams to go ahead and fight with each other. But RRQ, wait a second, you cannot give your information like this to your opponents. And MGK, I guess they are trying to take the players of RRQ down, but still the success is not there. And RRQ playing with the 3 players. Let's see this solo. What can the solo do on the other side circle? Move towards a bit more western side of the Rozak. Still that city area is in play. And Boom Esports, they have the best area for themselves. They can definitely score some good eliminations. But on the other side, if you focus on Team R3G, they are trying to gatekeep that area from where Team AST and probably Team Vampire Esports will try to move on.
Yeah, it is going to be a pretty tough defense here. So there could be quite an opportunity available for them up on that northern side, but looking to the southern edge as well, right? Things are still looking pretty challenging as, well, we are yet to see a few squads roll on forward. D Xavier, of course, being one of those soldiers holding on the outskirts. Bluz Esports also finding themselves all the way on that far eastern side. There's somewhat of a safe entry moving towards the zone. They have quite a few compounds, and so that is going to be obstructing their view, and that will allow them safe entry. You can see Vampires also now coming through with that rotation, heading a little bit further over on towards the western side. And from what we saw on the east, there's quite a vast open plain, right? They are most likely going to be opting for that fuel station, is where we can see them now pulling up in towards. But the big question is the zone going to allow for a bit of a continuation on that position, or will it force them to push up? Now, Vampires closing it out. As they've spotted the angles here, they do find the sprays, but the zone is going to keep them moving further and further upwards. So not quite the angle that they were hoping for.
Absolutely, and if they are not careful, they can definitely find themselves in the close quarter of ASX side. And we know that ASX side, they are trying to play so aggressive, and this fight will be, a treat to an eye if we manage to say this. But on the other side, it's BTR trying to, getting close to that school area for now. That's an open train. They have to be careful. Buzz official is on the backside. Smokes are being deployed. The virtual cover is placed, but once again, Buzz official, they're not being careful. How can you ignore a player who is playing inside a smoke area? But on the other side, Vampire Esports, as we were talking about this, they managed to find themselves into the crosshair of ASX side, and ASX side, they will not miss this time around. It's a 1v3 situation now. The last man standing of Vampire Esports will be forced to move forward. There's a blue zone on one side and Team ASX side on the other. He has no way to survive. But BTR, as they took one player down, they're going on a charge, they're going on a hunt, and this time around they will find the last man standing of Bluz official. They'll shut him down and get another elimination number confirmed. But wait a second, is there going to be any other team who will hear those gunshots and try to stab BTR or not? But BTR going for a revival. On the other side, this time Boomy Sports is trying to get the perfect utilization of this area. They have the best area inside the circle for now.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be prime real estate right then and there. So the pressure is going to be on here for Broom to see if they can make the magic happen. Bonbit and the rest of the crew keeping themselves nice and alert. Got to be careful though for, I believe that's Scam there from the side of Dardok, just waiting on the edge. Vampire Esports not going to be able to continue with their play. But now, let's see where this next phase is going to be taking us. Oh, it's going to keep the pressure on. I think especially looking at the Clue Squad, they're going to be quite happy, because the last time we saw them kind of riding the zone, kind of surfing their way in, they came out victorious, secured themselves that winner chicken dinner. Of course, the aggression not necessarily going their way for this game, as we've not seen that runaway performance just yet. They've not found a single point, in fact. But Regicide, trying to clean it up. They've got 4 eliminations up. Still a bit of a challenging rotation now to get up into this next stage, as will start closing through in the next 10 seconds or so. Tribe Eremacy though, Aladdin, still very removed from the zone.
Well, they are away from the zone, but you can see that there is an open terrain. If you look close by, there's no other team to gatekeep them, but all eyes on the fight of Boomy Sports, where BTR is going to challenge them this time around. They have 4 elimination numbers already, but Team Dingos, will they be able to eliminate BTR and get their ways inside the zone? But on the other side, Toda Gaming, the last man standing, got eliminated. He tried to backstab R3G, and yet R3G, they managed to get inside the zone somehow, and they avoided Team RRQ. But RRQ, now they have spotted the players of R3G one by one. They're trying to take them down. Waz is eliminated by Team AST, and now 2 teams are trying to do a third party, or try to make a sandwich of Team R3G. But on the other side, BTR versus Boom Sports. In fact, DRX was also there. DRX Levi's was the last man standing, and he got eliminated by Fredroll. Look at the elimination number of Team BTR. It's 6 eliminations. There was Boom Sports, who was also playing close quarters of this area, but they got also eliminated. But for now, RRQ going all in 3v3 situation. They eliminated one of the players. AST is also there. R3G is now in a bit of pickle, but the grenades are going back and forth all in. A couple of O's takes a lot of damage, and look at his HP. He is barely surviving on that, maybe 1 HP. But once again, RRQ trying to get those elimination numbers confirmed and throwing some grenades. File close, throws a grenade from the R3G side and finds one player.
Well, beautiful nades being played out of this position. Now, Trix also just trying to sneak up, find a little bit of a contribution here, maybe trying to steal a few of those eliminations from either RRQ or the players from Rachel's side. This could be exactly the approach now for Tribe Eremacy to follow through here. Again, just keeping their distance. Broom also up on the high ground with about 4, maybe 5 squads in contention, trying to lock it in. But looking at Broom, Fajar, interesting approach that they're taking, coming in from the elevated point here. An easy nade could be the one to seal the fate here for Regicide, as Roshan is going to try and bring the team back on their feet. 8 eliminations up, so nothing to scoff at here, but it is going to be a full send as Tribe Eremacy just sends it up, securing their first elimination. Took them 21 minutes, but here they are. As you can see, a lot of O's also being our dominator here, walking away with quite a bit of performance. But now, we are down to just 6 remaining teams, and the highest elimination count that we have currently on the board is going to be from the side of BTR. 6 elims, but they're feeling the heat, as we just saw Bumblebee getting dropped on down. Now, Tribe Eremacy coming through from the north. Boom Esports, if they can lock this one in, they will have a very comfortable rotation back into the zone.
Absolutely. Boom Esports, they have some compounds inside the zone, so that's the advantage that they have over any other team. But for now, AST, their entire focus is to, just maximize their loot, try to reset their heals, and then focus on a rotation that will take them inside the zone. But the problem is that they have MVK on one side, and then some of the players of Boom Esports are also gatekeeping them. So what is going to be their plan of action? They can definitely use that shore side and move inside the zone, but there is no cover inside the zone. Glue will be waiting for them. Glue, as well as they're also gatekeeping team BTR on one side. BTR was trying to move inside the zone, and Glue Esports, they find 2 players. They got their 3rd elimination number confirmed, but BTR going for some revives out there. Now on their last 2 players, they had great elimination numbers, but the zone disadvantage, it got them. And once again, Glue, look at them. Look at their spread inside the zone. They are just making it difficult for everyone out there. But BTR, will they close in? Will they get somehow a cover or a good spot inside the zone? That's a big question. But the split of Glue Esports, it will definitely gonna hurt them. On the other side, Boom Esports, they got surprised by Superman. One of the players is down. AST is also ready to charge on team Boom Esports, but some trades are going back and forth on both the side. Boom Esports now coming for a retaliation. 1 knockout on MVK side, and Boom Esports will definitely regroup towards this compound. And the good thing is, this compound has the zone, and Boom Esports, they have a heighted area as well.
Yeah, I mean, elevation and zone positioning, that is going to be one of the key factors to play for. It's going to be the Vikings that won't make it up into this next phase, as we are down to only 4 squads remaining. The numbers looking pretty good though, right? BTR, the only team sitting with 2 players up. Boom, now going to be feeling a little bit of that heat as it gets applied. But let's see if Bigatron Biovitality can look to close this one off. Still having a little bit of a way to go to get a good secure position. Tribe Eremacy, I like what they're doing up onto the north. Now looking to play the advantage. They have the numbers, they have the angle. But can they leverage it and get themselves that winner chicken dinner? Of course, only time will tell. But now it's going to be Bigatron Biovitality. Optimus, again, looking for the prime position to take the engagements from, as they find themselves over on the edge. But not full sending it just yet, right? Still just poking and prodding. Not going to be fully committing just yet. And I can't really fault them for that, because this is such a difficult zone to play through.
Absolutely, one of those difficult zones where it was looking like the circle is going to end on that Rozak side, but it abandoned in the last stages, and now there is no play area. BTR, they managed to secure a good spot inside the zone, but now the circle left that compound as well. Once again, that vehicle cover is going to be in play, but Team Glue, as soon as they realize that BTR has no hard cover, they can definitely score some elimination numbers, and here comes the first knockout. BTR left with the Optimus. Once again, that that solo player who is so close to Boom Esports. One good grenade and it will be a game over for BTR. But they have their entire focus on their elimination numbers. And now you can see that the highest elimination numbers are confirmed by Team BTR. But on the other side, Glue Squad, they spotted the last man standing and they eliminated them as well. They have the best area in the zone for now. But zone, it left Team Glue. Two of the players are still inside the zone, but one had to force himself to move further. Once again, now it's down to the last three teams. Glue versus AST versus Team Boom Esports. A bit more defensive approach by AST. I think now is the time. It's the right time that Team AST they should try to pace up their momentum and try to get some elimination numbers. But Boom charges from one, Glue charges from another. AST will not be able to capitalize on this situation. It's a 2v4 situation for them. One by one, all the players of AST are going down and they're left with Trex, who will be dealt by a beautiful grenade or not. A grenade comes in and he faces a lot of damage, but still manages to survive.
Yeah, I mean, so far, Trick's going to have to find a few of those tricks if they want to survive. Now it's going to be the rain down of utility. Boom Esports looking to move on forward. Glue also coming through from that western side, but the shots are in. Tricks rather is down. Regnar going to try and survive. You can see Noel. Ooh, keeping that front line pretty tight. Up comes the rest of Glue. Are they going to be able to stick it through and get that dub? Just on the edge. Look at the spread though. Glue just reading the zone phenomenally as they now look to get the upper hand against the side here of Boom Esports. Oh, beautiful nade. Bonbit getting picked up. Now two players left to defend. Fajar now just tucking back, looking to come through with the res. You can see Stickley and Xbox up on that eastern side rather. Now just riding the edge of zone, trying to sneak up behind the players here from Boom. It's going to be XKF also going in for that res to bring their numbers up. Boom still very defensive, not going to let this chicken get taken away from them as they look to keep the defenses there. Right, Glue slowly piecing themselves back together. It's going to be one bit down. Fajar now just holding up against the tree. But fortunately, though, for them, there's no one able to push up behind them.
Absolutely. For now, they have that advantage. Boom Esports, they have one of the player plays on the backside, and that's where they're getting all that cover. And Fajar will be able to revive Monbat. But Boom Esports, now that they have the man advantage in play, they need to use that util alongside that man advantage. It has to be in play. But Glue Esports, what is their plan of action? Team Boom Esports, they have to move inside the zone. They don't have the zone. Team Glue is gatekeeping the zone for them. And it's a 2v3 situation, yet the zone advantage is in the favor of Team Glue Squad. But Boom Esports are coming with those utilities. Once again, a grenade comes in, but somehow the player of Glue, he dodges it. It lands so close to him, but he still survives. He's trying to dodge all that utility, but how will he manage to do that? He does not have that hard cover from all the side. A grenade comes in, manages to damage KF, but once again, that heavy artillery fire is gonna damage them. But one by one, as those grenades, they make a click on one player. KF is down, and now last man Neo has that responsibility to get something, to do a wonder, but Boom Esports will shut him down and get this chicken dinner for themselves. A beautiful chicken dinner comes in from Team Boom Esports side with good amount of elimination numbers. But yes, we had so many dominator. Now you can see that every team in the lobby is trying to get their hands on those elimination numbers. So Boom Esports, they will definitely dominate, but not with a lot of eliminations.
Yeah, I mean, but hey, a chicken is a chicken, right? However you look at it. So well done to them. And of course, now we know the strategy coming into the final stages of the zone is to do what Boom did and just go boom, boom, boom. Rain down the utilities if you can't get a clear line of sight on the opponent. But yeah, a beautiful strategy getting played through here from them. You got to give it up to Glue Squad as well, right? They tried their best to kind of keep that defensive line up, but unfortunately, Boom had other intentions. And of course, the MVP is going to be M all the way from Boom Esports with 6 eliminations and nearly 1,200 damage secured.
I mean, nearly all the elimination numbers was confirmed by this one player, M. He has 6 eliminations with 1195 damage. This damage definitely justifies those elimination numbers side by side. The contribution of all the other players of Boom Esports was also there. They were trying to assist their teammate with the utility, be it utility or be it those sprays out there, be it those revivals. And all in all, it was a team play that worked. 11 eliminations, a 6-by-1 player, and 21 points in total. This will give them a huge shift on the points table.
Yeah, it definitely will secure them a good spot in this one. Just gotta love what they've been able to do here. But then you also gotta look over at the Glue Squad, right? Coming in that second place, finishing with 11 points. Bigatron by Vitality on 11. RRQ coming on 11. I mean, RRQ, our second most aggressive team for this match. So, gotta love it when we see more and more squads rising to the occasion. For Regicide, though, this has been their best game that they've played so far, right? They've been struggling in the other games to find good consistency, to find that pacing, but it all seems to have now clicked in right as we entered this fourth match, the second half of the day. So love to see that. ASI 8, though, not having as insane of a performance this time around, still managing to get themselves 6 eliminations, but they had a few difficulties to try and overcome moving into the later stages of the game here.
Absolutely. Yes, excited. They got the elimination numbers in their first drop clash, and R3G was the main reason why this team did not get that momentum that they needed in this match. But for now, if we look towards overall standing, Team Glue Squads have 45 total points in 4 matches, and that's an amazing number. 19 placement points, 26 elimination points on the other side, ASX side, 1 elimination number away. But if you look towards the total points, there's a 10 number difference, all because the survival points of our Team ASX side, the survival points are not enough from this team. But RRQ still managing to place themselves in the third spot. They have 35 points in total, and the competition is getting high because look at second, third, and fourth number team. 3 slots on 3 points difference.
Yeah, I mean, it could all change in one single game, but yeah, the competition is really starting to tighten up when we're only in the 4th match, right? We still have 2 more days of play to come. So, yep, there's going to be a lot of shifting coming through on this board. But of course, speaking about the board itself, we do have Viking Esports closing us off in 9th place, coming through with 22 points. I mean, from 9th place to 1st place, right? It's only, 23-point difference? And that is just one good match to change up the whole situation. Speaking about situations, though, looking at the second page, everybody has points on boards, right? 10 points between 10th place and 18th. So again, there's still a big opportunity for a lot of that movement to come through in the remaining matches here.
Absolutely. T2K and DRS, if they need to close up, they need to abandon the drop clashes. There are so many places on the map of Erangel where you can go, so many available avenues that you can go and explore for your team. So taking those drop clashes in the first zone, that's something that is creating a lot of problem for T2K and Team DRS. I mean, you can see that DRS only have 10 points in 4 matches. That is really a big problem on the other side. R3G, they managed to get 9 points in the previous match. They had only 1 point in the previous 3 matches. So yes, it's a great match for them, but they need to pace up a bit in the coming matches because the competition is looking intense now. 9 teams will qualify. If you look at it, it looks like it's a big number, but when you look towards the competition, it's not easy to be in that top 9 spot.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy. And so, as you were saying, right, even though the team stepped it up in this last match, just stepping up in one game is not going to be enough to secure your qualification spot, right? So, if you don't step it up, the rest of the lobby is going to run away from you. So, you got to bring in that heat. You got to bring in that pressure because if you want to stay in it, you're gonna have to do the work, right? You have to bring the aggression, bring in those points, and make it as challenging for the opposition to take you out.
Absolutely, and qualifying from this stage is a little bit easy if you compare it with the next stage because 10 teams from the Esports World Cup will join. We all know that what is the capability of those teams. They are in the momentum. They had the Esports World Cup going for themselves, and now all that confidence, all that the things that they learn in the Esports World Cup, they use it in this tournament. But I guess, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for a very short break. We'll take the break. We'll come back for the next with the next match. But grab your popcorns. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Ladoma Asia Showdown Season 4 already. A pretty exciting day that we've had so far. 4 games and 4 different teams rising up to claim that winner chicken dinner. Aladdin, we have 2 more to go, right? We've got 1 Miramar and 1 Erangel left. And I don't quite know who's going to be the one looking to clutch it up.
Well, looking towards the previous Miramar, we can clearly see that ASXI, they had a different plan on this map. You know, Pakistani teams, they have this obsession with Erangel and Sanhok that they completely forget that there's a map called Miramar, and it's one of those important maps if you talk about competitive scenario. But ASXI, they are working on this map recently. I've seen them dominating and coming up with a 19 elimination number bomb on this map. This clearly tells that they have worked seriously on this map. Once again, will they try to replicate their performance and that 30 number bomber that we were talking about? Will they try to drop it on this map? Previously, they had a bad luck. There was a team who was trying to, gatekeep their area, R3G specifically, coming from the regional side. Let's see if there's any other team who try to challenge them, or will there be a 30 number gameplay by them?
I mean, 30 bomb would be pretty great, but from what we've seen so far, the teams that were able to get themselves that winner chicken dinner, either the zone wasn't really working in their favor, or they had quite a bit of opposition coming up towards them. So it's going to be interesting to see who will be able to convert that consistency. But the last team that we saw rise to the occasion, of course, being the players there from Boom Esports, bringing in the heat, bringing in the fire. But now it all boils down to what will the desert bring on through. So we've had the players from ASI getting that one winner chicken dinner, and of course then the other victory we saw going all the way over to the players from Dodec. So there's a lot of opportunities, a lot of potential contenders that are going to be clashing for that winner chicken dinner. Todak, they've been having an interesting day, right? I mean, the past few matches not necessarily really going their way. The last game we saw, they also were able to secure themselves only 2 points, and those points all came off the back of the aggression. So if they want to step up to the plate, they're going to have to bring the pressure, and they're going to have to come in pretty hot, I would say, in this next game.
Absolutely, but talking about the next game, I have to talk about the drop clashes. Previously, MVKE was coming up against DRS. They lost their drop clash. DRS had 4 elimination points in the beginning. On the other side, we saw Team DX versus Team Dai, SKD. They were also indulging into a rotational fight. So once again, will there be some similar situations as we saw in the previous match? Erangel, there were some drop clashes. DRS is not, they are not trying to abandon it. They're trying to, fight on early on stages and then confirm their elimination numbers. So I think their intention is straight, their plan is straight. They just want to indulge themselves into an early fight. Once again, maybe there will be a drop clash between DRS and MVK that we saw in the previous Miramar. Side by side, DX, if you talk about this team, they had 14 elimination numbers. Although the domination from AS, it got highlighted, but somehow we ignored it, as I mentioned previously. So let's see, will Team DX try to replicate this performance, or will they get eliminated this time around by Team SKT?
Well, only time will tell, right? There's going to be a lot of opportunity, a lot of things to be revealed as we are going to be stepping into that following match. But R3G though, right? Great to see them starting to wake up come match number 4, really stepping into their own here. So maybe we'll see a little bit of that potential continuation, because I don't think that we can really figure out all too much of what we could have come through from their side, right? Yes, they did try a few strategies, right? We did see them into those later few stages in the previous Miramar, but nothing really getting turned into too much of an opportunity for them. This time around, though, the zone is going to be centered on a very southern approach here, taking us all the way from that Via Del Mar, and of course heading just across Impala side. But Aladdin, this is where I want to ask you, where do you think we're going to be taking the zone towards this time?
Well, the flight path is a bit more cornered towards the southern side. So I'm expecting that the zone, the first circle is going to be, maybe it's going to go towards power grid side, San Martin, a bit more, centralized shift is something that I'm expecting. But only time is going to tell where the circle is going to go. The recent circle shifts are very unpredictable. There used to be a time when if circle goes towards the southern side, the flight path goes towards the opposite. now that the recent meta is in play, it's kind of unpredictable where the circle is going to go. But there is one thing that is predictable, and it is those early on drop fights, because R3G, they're looking so close to one team. And I guess it's Monte Nuevo that we're talking about. Bloods versus R3G will probably going to be in play.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be an interesting thing here. Monte Nuevo going to be hitting up. We also do see a little bit of a potential play up in towards Los Leones, but there we have it. The zone is going to be taking us over onto that western front. Looking quite favorable, I would say, here for the players from the Glue Squad. Even looking over to TDK, right? Nice start that they have there, so not too much of a hassle for them to get looted up and get going. Crypto is going to come through with our first bloods. We can see it right then and there. Sekodai also getting ready for a little bit of heat here alongside RRQ. So Puerto Pareso, oh, it's going to be hot. And T Xavier, the next team out of here.
Absolutely, Dingos gets eliminated early on by ASX side, but they eliminated Iron with them, and now Team ASX side will be left to play with the last three players. The same situation was there in the last match, and they got, eliminated by their next opponents. But now that they have three players alive, calm with 3 eliminations. I mean, in every other fight, whenever we see Team ASX side, someone from this team tries to step up big time and gets that heroic performance, gets those 3 elimination numbers. Previously, it was Casanova. This time around, it's Calm, but the elimination feed is going on. There is Team RRQ that is also trying to get close in. There's one squad, SKD, in front of them. On the other side, Semline versus Bloods officials is also going on some other area. But RRQ, they're on the run. They're charging in. Look at this. Tai Pekka is spotting. He's trying. He has an Uzi in his hands. 3 players with the shotguns. They're going all in, charging in. But still, Pekka manages to take 2 players down. Lapar is down, and BDR. In fact, RRQ, he used to play BDR previously. RRQ, now one of the players also charges, and Pekka takes another down. It's a 1v3, and now he has to convert it in a 1v4 coming up against RRQ with the Uzi, and his cavalry is also there. All the players of SKD also coming up with him. A couple of O's is waiting for him with the grenade. Pekka going for that 1v4. He needs to clutch this out. He's going all in. He has a Uzi in his hands, but he has to face a shotgun. RRQ won't touch them. The answer is a big no, and RRQ always take one of the player down, and RRQ, as they got eliminated, Himson gets the last elimination point. But wait a second, before getting eliminated, he managed to take 2 players down and eliminate another.
Oh, wow. Pretty crazy performance that we've had so far. I mean, look at that. We're like 3-4 teams already getting eliminated. So, I mean, these teams, right, they chose violence when they came into this game. Gotta love it, though. DRS, it's very calm over on this end, right? Puerto Pareso, hot and heated like no one's business. But then if we look up into Hacienda del Patron, it is pretty chill. Boom Esports also now finding a nice little piece of tranquility here. But Aladdin, it's interesting that we've had a few crazy altercations to start off the match, but now it seems like it has calmed down quite a bit, right? The team's kind of getting over that quick disagreements. Bloods still going to be feeling a little bit of the pressure there, as we do see Sem9 still laying quite heavily into the side of them. But Monte Nuevo is going to be quite a contentious play. Now, Vampires, they've got that whole casino area to themselves. Bloods official down to 2 players. Not quite sure if Sem9 is going to allow them to escape here.
Absolutely, Bloods official. They have Gyro knocked out and they need to revive their teammate, but I guess Sem9 is not going to allow them. Gyro is bleeding out, and slowly and steadily he will also get eliminated. But last 2 players, their entire focus is to take Sem9 out of the game. And look at this, XE finds one player, he takes him down and he shuts him down as well. He gets that elimination number confirmed. Sem9, they had no idea that one of the players is wrapping them around. And look at this, Plus official, they win this fight for themselves, but at what cost? They lost 2 players, and that's not a good trade. That's something that I always say, that's something that I always mention, that taking that early on trade, getting 4 elimination points and eliminating 1 or 2 players, that's never a fair trade in the first circle. I mean, it also depends. If it's the last zone, then maybe that trade is good. But if it's the first circle, you need to move forward, fight with all the other teams that have foremen standing. You know, you will already be in a disadvantage. But Plus official, that's their maximum input in the previous fight. But let's see if this thing gives